Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast of Week 1 of the Risen Divine League. We have got a banger matchup for you guys tonight between Glacial Esports and the Akuma Claymores. My name is Gordo, and I am joined tonight by the notorious RMC, random minion caster himself. RMC, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, doing great. Super hyped to be back onto Risen Divine with all the proving ground stuff going on. It feels like it's been way too long.
Oh, it certainly does. And we are hopping right into the picks and bans between these guys. We've got Glacial on the blue side and the Akuma Claymores on the red for game one here. And immediately we're going to start seeing some pocket picks hitting that ban list. Going to be Cutie's Vel'Koz being banned away. First ban, blue side right away.
Ooh, and another pocket ban, the Darius coming through against Revnon here. We should probably set up the teams a little bit. Both of these teams have played in Risen Divine before. It's not their first rodeo. In fact, the Claymores are actually the current reigning champions. And Glacial Esports and the Claymores played in the same group last split, fall 2020 as well. So they're very, very familiar with each other here.
Yeah, they're just destined to be playing against each other in this league, and this season appears to be no exception. But Glacial not going to waste any time there. They're going to slam lock in that Udyr as soon as that Kindred ban is the last one to hit the table. So now going to be up to the side of the Claymores, figure out how they want to respond to this early jungle pick.
Yeah, and there have been some changes naturally here. Udyr has become, that sort of huge monster that was almost pick ban 100% in almost every game here. We do have to note we are on patch 11.4. This is live here, so the jungle nerfs have come through, and it was targeted primarily at fast clear jungles such as Udyr.
Yeah, and such as Lilia, so it looks like we're just going to be ignoring that patch for today and just going to go right back to those matchups. To be expected, as nobody's had too much time to really scrim on the new patch yet, but we're definitely going to see if we start feeling some of those jungle changes right here and now. And now I'm going to be hovering the Alistar here for Glacial, and that's going to be locked in. Certainly a powerful support pick and very good in Durrell, able to disrupt some of that engage potential.
Yeah, personally, I prefer Rel as a counter pick, but you've seen her rise right up in terms of pick priority there. She's just really strong for disengage, has engage options as well, and facilitates really a very strong sort of team fight composition. So I do expect to see that come through from the Claymores here. The Kai'Sa pickup for Glacial Esports, another champion that did get nerfed this patch. The damage on it on Kai'Sa specifically has been reduced somewhat, but still a very, very strong pick. And if we were a patch ago, I'd say that Glacial Esports is getting all the OP picks right now.
Yeah, specifically the missiles on that Q, going to be seeing a little bit less damage per missile there, so going to be maybe reducing some of that damage output, particularly against isolated targets, going to remove some of that assassination potential in particular. But speaking of assassination potential, we got a Mordekaiser lock in here, going to be looking to isolate some members of Glacial Esports.
Yep, and this has nothing to do with meta whatsoever here. This is a Revnon special, the likes of that Darius, the likes of the Mordekaiser. These are things that he's known to play here, so they are really giving him a priority on that comfort champion. Now, the ADC has not been locked in yet for the Claymores, could potentially be pinched. We're seeing a bit of a mid lane pinch here, but Cutie honestly has such a large champion pool here that it's difficult to try and take everything out. So I wonder if Glacial Esports have a particular pick they're trying to push Cutie a little bit towards here.
Yeah, that certainly might be the case. Not going to be looking to pinch that 80 carry pool. Probably just feel that, there's no other 80 carry bans at this point. So, throwing just two at them at the very last moment, probably not going to prevent them from getting something too powerful. But of course, in order to make me a liar, they got to ban away that Misfortune last ban on the blue side here. So that is not going to be on the table for the Claymores. Let's see what option they decide to go with here, or if they'd rather blind pick mid at this point. But now they're just going to go for the Xayah.
Yeah, be surprised if they blind pick the mid here. You already know what bot lane you're running into. There's really no point holding that. You want to hold that counter pick for Cutie in the mid lane. And seeing Xayah is completely expected. Kai'Sa right now, along with Senna, seem to be the high prio champions. But when you see a Kai'Sa locked in, often Xayah is the response here. Samira is no longer viable as a counter. So the counter engage from Xayah, the safety from Bodast here. And we talked a bit about team fighting. Misfortune's off the table, but Xayah is a team fight monster as well. And another pocket pick coming through, this time for the top laner of Glacial Esports.
Yeah, Devil Unicorn spamming this Poppy in solo queues so far in Season 11. I did not dare to hope that we might get to see it today, but it looks like we are going to get just that. Not sure how well it functions really into the Mordekaiser. No real dashes to interrupt there with the Steadfast Presence. but and not really too many dashes to speak of other than the Rel at all on the side of the Akuma Claymores, but definitely going to be a comfort pick for Devil Unicorn there, and Kite Azure going to another comfort pick here. He's going to be taking in that Rumble for the mid lane.
Okay, Glacial Esports here, their composition has just been straight power picks, either in terms of meta or personal comfort picks here. I don't see necessarily a ton of synergy. I've seen a lot of problems when Poppy is used with compositions that want to lay down something like an AoE, like the red carpet, the equalizer from Rumble here. So I'm a little bit concerned whether they can layer that right here. But you know what? They're a team who has worked together. We'll have to see it. We should mention at this point as well, Glacial Esports has changed their top laner and their support from last split. So Devil Unicorn as well as Sly Lego are new. And guess who's on the Poppy? It's Devil Unicorn.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be the case. And both teams kind of going for some interesting looks here. Both teams going to be taking anti-dash champions against team comps with fairly low dash potential. Going to be the Poppy for Glacial Esports, and is going to be Cassiopeia coming through for the side of the Akuma Claymores. So not going to get too much value out of that grounded effect, but is definitely going to be looking to punish some of these shorter range picks from Glacial Esports. Going to be Udyr and Rumble both just trying to run forward along with Poppy, and even Kaisa ends up being fairly short range herself. Cassiopeia going to be able to layer down that miasma, going to be able to kite backwards, and going to try to just make it hell for these guys to try to run on through into the team.
Yeah, I really like what we're seeing here from the Claymores here. As you mentioned, when a team wants to run into you, the likes of a Cassiopeia, the likes of a Rel are just excellent at stopping that engage. And Mordekaiser as well does very well when he's kiting back, when he doesn't have to try and find that flank move forward here, when he can just stand there and be that bulwark of metal death there. That's when I feel like Mordekaiser really shines. So I feel like Claymores, their draft is going to be basically just a hard counter to what Glacial Esports want to do. But we already spoke about Glacial Esports. A lot of just strength here in their picks, individual strength. And while it's not something we see a lot of in the current meta, win lane, win game is still a viable strategy, albeit a rather hard to execute one.
Yeah, that is going to be Glacial Esports' major win con here. They do want to be able to use these comfort picks to get an advantage in the laning phase and be able to convert that in such a way that once they're going for these engaging team fights, it doesn't matter that they're up against the disengaged comp, because they're just going to be slapping them with their wallets and trying to run on through regardless.
One thing we should note as well here for the side of Glacial Esports is that their comp doesn't actually require them to necessarily team fight here. Udyr, everything that made Udyr strong before is still there. What they really changed on Udyr was how quickly he can farm up in the jungle, how much experience gold you get. And it's really a fairly minor nerf. So Udyr will still hit Rocket Man levels. He'll just take a little bit longer to get there. And once you do hit that levels, Udyr's split push is very viable. It's very annoying, and it doesn't even grant you a safe bear necessarily, because between Turbo Chem Tank and just the bear stance running, you often can get to the right place in time. You pair that with that Poppy here, potentially for Devil Unicorn, and it becomes it's almost impossible to try and sneak away an objective before Udyr gets there, even if he's on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, and Udyr's build just did not get hit at all in this patch. Well, it's expected that the jungle changes do affect him to some degree. That Turbo Chem Tank going to feel just as good. The Dead Man's Plate, all of those good movement speed focused items still going to be coming through just as well as they were previously. Also curious, though, to see some Moonstone Renewer nerfs coming across in this patch. Going to be curious if that affects Lilia, or if that's even a build that Atlas was interested in going for, as we have seen a lot of players start to move over more towards the Leandries as of late.
Yeah, and the Moonstone, again, similar to the Udyr here, was nerfed more for the early game. We do see that sort of Lilia, Moonstone Renewer, Lilia coming through for Atlas here, late game, it's still going to heal just as much as it did before there. So, and Lilia is in the first place not exactly an early game champion, so the nerfs to that Moonstone probably won't affect her too badly here. Despite all the nerfs, I feel like the only main one that my eyes are super drawn to is going to be this Kaisa for La Milala here in the bot lane. How it stacks up against the Xayah, where before Kaisa would have a much better laning phase. I actually don't know how that's going to pan out in the laning phase here.
Yeah, really going to be a hit to that assassination potential on the Kai'Sa. Specifically, the damage per missile is what ends up being nerfed. So when you're just firing out Qs and hitting, just one or two across targets, you might not feel it quite as much. But when you're isolated and you're throwing every single one of those missiles at the same target, then those nerfs are going to start to stack up, and you're really going to notice that you're dealing less damage than you were on the last patch.
Oh, for sure. Still, there is the assassination potential, and we do see it, like Kraken Slayer, Kaisa. That wasn't nerfed, so that's still going to hit like an absolute truck there, if that is what we get to see. And yeah, I'm just I feel like Akuma Claymores have done better up to this point in terms of how they've drafted. It weighs on my mind too that they are the reigning champions of Risen Divine currently, but I'm more intrigued by Glacial Esports composition here because I'm not seeing the synergy, which means I want to see more mechanical outplay. If not, I don't see how the composition works. And despite myself being a color and liking strategy, I love to see the individual highlight plays.
Yeah, and you can see how the comp might be able to work around the Rumble as well. You know, you've got targets with just regular old hard CC and the Alistair and the Udyr, and if you can manage to hold people on top of the Equalizer, that's always going to be a recipe for success. So it's going to be
Mhm.
up to the side of the Akuma Claymores to try to avoid that sort of result and to make sure that when they're kiting back, they're not actually ending up being cut off by the Equalizer, because that's always a threat when you're playing the kite back team looking to thwart other teams' engages, that maybe you get cut off or maybe you get flanked and then you have nowhere left to turn.
Yeah, especially in those choke points there. When the floor is literal lava, you cannot escape and you're forced to turn and fight here. They do have the tools to fight if they need to, but you really don't ever want to be forced into a bad position where you have to take a fight if you don't want to here. So, um, yeah, Kaiser, a lot of work on their shoulders here to be able to pull this off.
Certainly going to be. And with that established, we are going to throw it to a quick break here to get loaded on up into the game. But do not go anywhere. We are going to be right back with every bit of Divine League action for tonight's first game. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the Risen Divine League. We have got Glacial Esports taking on Akuma Claymores in Game 1 of this best-of-3 series. My name is Gordo, and I am still joined by RMC tonight. And RMC, we are in for a treat of a game here.
Oh, definitely. I love it when we get sort of rematches between teams. And if anything, Gordo, this one's even spicier than usual because Claymores might be the reigning champions, but in the group stages, they actually went even with Glacial Esports. So it's not as one-sided as the results might suggest here.
Yeah, and we were seeing a little bit of trash talk between these guys, even in the pre-game lobby, just looking definitely on the side of Glacial Esports to want to run this one back and prove that it was a bit more of a fluke last season and that they could have been the ones to be hoisting that trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it is only game 1, so lots can happen. It is a new patch, and like I said, they did go even, but for sure, these teams have a lot of respect, shall we say, for each other here. So they are as eager as we are to get into this one here. Are we going to see a delayed invade from the bot lane? They're sat right on top of a ward here.
Yeah, they certainly are. So just going to be sweeping that one away. Might not be going for this invade here. Just going to be a pretty standard start out from both of these guys here. Starting up the red buff. Going to be a pretty standard clear on both sides.
Yeah, sadly, we didn't see the action. They did leave a little bit of a ward behind, though, to spot out if there's anything here, but not going to see anything. No real leashes faked here, so everybody's going to know where everybody else is on the map. And normally with the Lilia, we expect them to be a little bit more passive than the likes of that Udyr in the early couple of levels. And as I say that
might not be happening. Immediately, you're going to see Atlas coming on in here, landing some abilities and forcing Kite Azure back. He's still only at level 1 on this Rumble and is a lowly melee Rumble at that. So he's just got to back on under the turret and take the punishment that he's receiving. Cutie is going to be pushing even farther now as he's been able to hit level 2 as well.
Oh, and that's a great start for the Claymores here. When you've got the champion like the Cassiopeia here, you want to give as much strength as you can. And they're even pushing in and punishing Popung a little bit here.
Yeah, they really are. Atlas really making his presence be known here across this mid lane area. Not going to be able to steal away too much, but does have a slight CS lead for himself and an XP lead as well, as he's been sapping away a couple of those mid lane melee minions.
The more you can set an Udyr behind, the better. Because eventually, it's going to hit that Rocket Man stage where he just runs in, just going to ignore everything you do and just annoy the crap out of everybody here. And Popung doing the buff to buff start, looking like he might try and rush a gank onto Revnon here.
Yeah, he might be doing just that. He's running on up. Revnon does not know that this is happening. He's going to get pushed back here. He still has the flash, but he's going to be flash bear slapped by the Udyr, and he's going to get taken down pretty easily for first blood there. Excellently played by Popung.
I mean, Raptors for first blood, I'd take that any day of the week here. So Popung going to be happy with that particular trade there. And that's unfortunate for Revnon, because if you know how the Claymores like to play, they like to get Revnon ahead. Cutie is their late game insurance. Bodas does great late game, but early game, mid game, they want to get Revnon snowballing where he can be that juggernaut and just take over a game 1v5 here.
Yeah, the beauty of the Mordekaiser, though, is that no matter how far behind he gets, he still does have access to that Death Realm, and unless you're going to pay the QSS tax, you are going to end up stuck in there with him for quite a while, whether he himself is too big of a threat or not. And we can see here, though, Sly Lego moving up here, trying to zone away some of the Claymore's bot lane here, just using a little bit of that lane power that it appears Kai'Sa still does have access to, although Azure are going to be interrupting a recall here in the mid lane.
For Cutie there, trying to get away with a little bit of a cheater recall.
Oh no, the repeat gank.
Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. The ward is there, and actually did see Popung the first time, so now that Revnon isn't going to get knocked into the river there, should be fine. The Udyr running at you is not that scary till he gets that turbo chem tank there, so we'll be a-okay. This bot side, though, not going too well for the Akuma Claymores. They are getting zoned out a little bit, but it's pushed into the tower. They'll be fine and happy just CSing under turret here.
Yeah, Revnon, though, did end up having to blow his flash there on the repeat gank, so now the forbidden technique coming out of Popung here might be the triple gank in the top lane, just to force Revnon to be pressured even farther here, so he's really got to tighten up here and make sure that he's aware of the threat that the Udyr poses, but now he knows he's in the bot lane as the junglers have run on into each other. Atlas just going to have to back on away here, though. He cannot win that 1v1 like he did at level 2.
Yeah, and that was not even a 1v1 that would have been a 2v1. Cutie really wanted to back up the first time, interrupted already, was not sticking around. So Atlas, a bit of a risky play, gets out alive, and that's good enough. Doesn't get too much though, but frankly, didn't lose too much for it. So I think it's a-okay for now, and fairly even, not where you might want to be, but definitely not a bad spot to be in.
And Revnon now getting frozen on here in the top lane to be punished for his missing flash. He's living his worst life right now, as he's just going to be taking that recall, picking up Ruby Crystal and some boots, and going to be returning onto lane here. And now we can see bot lane's kind of just equalized itself a little bit. A slight CS lead for Bodas, but that's likely going to be equalized by this big old wave that's crashing right now.
Actually, that top wave, the freeze broke a little bit, so it will be bouncing back into Revnon there. His long stroll from the base actually ends up panning out a little bit there, as Devil Unicorn doesn't quite set up the freeze right. But the top lane right now is definitely an issue to watch for. Like you said, he'll be fine, but that's not how they like to play. And are they roaming into the mid lane here, potentially? Devil Unicorn coming really far down to drop a ward.
At minimum, also going to be securing this this crab for themselves, as Papa gonna finish that one up, make sure it's secured here. But Cutie just keeps landing these toxic bursts and is going to go for the ultimate, but not going to be able to land it down. And now the Alistar is here to back him up, and he's going to be stuck on top of that equalizer and now trying to run on away. But Sly Lego just chasing him down, hitting him with the Alistar autos, and going to end up finishing him at the end of the day. That is going to be the second kill to Glacial Esports, and the first one for Sly Lego.
That was such a close one, too. You could see that Sly Lego was actually going to base before that. Dark Lord Matt now coming up to try and match the roam here. I don't think they have enough damage by themselves here. It worked because Cassiopeia was so far up, but the Rumble going to be a lot safer. Atlas, it's not your jungle anymore, mate.
No, it certainly is not, and Devil Unicorn is here to punish him for that. He's going to be forced to flash on away here, but he is being immediately followed. Going to try to escape with a blast cone, but doesn't able to do it as he gets knocked up by the Poppy ultimate. Excellently played there by Devil Unicorn, but they cannot finish him off, but there's more members here to interrupt this fight. Devil Unicorn is stuck in the ultimate from Mordekaiser and has come on out now and is getting focused in by Akuma Cutie. Now it is going to be Popeye. He's here alone, and he is going to get finished off by Cutie, and now Devil Unicorn finds himself in a 1v4 situation. He's going to try to trade back for Atlas here, who is now out of mana, but Revnon is here to get some revenge for that earlier gank, and he's going to finish off his lane opponent here for a kill.
Oh, Gordon, that took forever to take Devil Unicorn down. That Poppy's not even that tanky yet, but 2 kills going back over is going to be nice. Revnon with the kill and assist right back into it, and beautiful flashback from Bodast.
Yeah, no, super important there in order to keep himself alive. And Sly Lego finds himself incredibly low, but actually Bodas taking quite a few hits here. The Killer Instinct goes on in, but is met with the ultimate from Xayah. And Kite Azure is just here. He's tanking up some turret shots, hitting no damage, and he's just got to run on through. An attempted dive going to end up botched there by Glacial Esports, and that's going to be Lamalala forced to flash as a result of Revnon's TP.
And that was a whole bunch of summoners just blown everywhere there. TP for Revnon, as you mentioned, the flash and the heal for Bodas. On the other side for Glacial, it was, I believe, the ignite from Kite Azure, as well as the flash from Lamalala there. So a lot burnt for really nothing here. And neither side really gets a ton of pressure onto this first Drake, this Ocean Drake that's actually been sitting there for the last 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, no, just nobody even bothering to start it up, as they're too interested in these kills. They keep seeing gank and dive opportunities, and they're taking every single one that they can see. And it looks like thus far it's been pretty even, you know, but Akuma Claymores have started to turn this one around after a pretty poor start. Got a kill back onto Renvon here, and he now is actually going to be pretty close in gold to Devil Unicorn. So managed to catch himself back up in the game despite the CS discrepancy and despite being picked up for first blood.
Okay, they're setting up for Cutie here. They did actually see Dark Lord Matt there, so they know Dark Lord Matt's here, and they're still trying to pick this fight. Cutie, no flash, no ghost.
I'm gonna flash forward, gonna get the flash bear slap on top of the equalizer, and Cutie just cannot survive that on this Cassiopeia. The snake is oh so squishy and is gonna be taken down as a result. Now Dark Lord Matt just alone under the turret. He's not gonna be able to be dove. He's just a little bit too tanky on the rel, but he can do nothing but watch as his mid laner's gonna fall down.
Yeah, that's a rough one there. Great knowledge from Glacial to know that they could burst down Cutie that quickly there, and unfortunately that's not going to change anytime soon. Cassiopeia no longer gets a bunch of tank stats from the likes of a Seraph's Embrace, from a Rod of Ages here. Does a lot of damage though, but needs to be able to stay alive to pump out that damage. Bodas, have to be careful.
Face checking here onto Sly Lego, going to immediately be pulverized, going to get Killer Instincted on, and is going to get taken down by Lamalala. Some nerfs or not, that isolated Q going to be enough to pick up the Q at the end of the day. And now Lamalala going to be up 1-0-0 in this lane. A very free and very nice gold influx for him.
So Gordo, when we were coming into this in the draft, one of the biggest questions I had was how big are these Kai'Sa nerfs exactly? On paper, they look fairly significant, but in game, by the eye test, it certainly doesn't look very different here. La Milala just absolutely bursting down Bodas. That is disgusting and does not really bode well in this 1v1 where Bodas and La Milala often find themselves with their supports roaming.
Yeah, certainly not there. Bodas was already taken a little bit low there, but that isolated Q still going to be the most effective way to zero somebody else on Kai'Sa, and it is going to still be plenty functional there for them now. So they're going to try to set up a freeze in this bot wave, but their minions are all gone, and it's just going to be crashing on up into the turret.
Okay, 11 minutes into the game now. Drag did finally go down, Ocean Drake to the side of Glacial, and if we take stock of where we find ourselves right now, Glacial has played quite well in terms of what they want to do. They want to be proactive here with their composition. They don't necessarily want to let the Claymores just skill up for free, and they haven't. They've been able to punish. The Claymores, on the other hand, not the best position. Ideally, they want to be dead even, but they're not too far behind either, and Cutie is still showing quite a bit of threat onto Kite Azir here, so they still do have pressure there. Their top lane's kind of evened out, so it's fairly even, and for the side of Claymores right now, they're going to look to just kind of sit back and scale a little bit. I am a little bit worried about the Dragons because it is Infernal coming up next, and they do want to fight for that. But if they do let that go, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, and with the Infernal Drake coming up next, we also know that it's not going to be one of the most impactful souls in the game. It's going to be either Mountain or Cloud Soul, and neither of those are really quite the game-breaking potential that an Infernal or an Ocean Soul do. So definitely going to feel not quite as bad if they manage to lose control of the Dragons here, but still definitely going to be a priority to try to snowball these ahead for Glacial Esports. A little bit of trading going on in the top lane here, though. And looks like they're likely just going to back away from each other, though.
Yeah, they're just going to keep kind of going at it. Revnon right now only sitting on that Leeching Leer, so probably going to be losing out on these trades here, at least until Devil Unicorn runs out of mana, which probably isn't going to happen anytime soon. And honestly, I don't think we're going to see anything in the top lane unless people start popping up there, the junglers, the mid laners, the bot lanes. If not, Herald's the only thing of any import up there.
Yeah, it's going to be all that they really have to worry about at that time. So now just going to be a little bit of a return to normalcy here by both sides. We can take a check-in on some of the CS totals here, and we can see that Revnon's started to catch back up in this lane. He was down pretty much like about 45 to 20 CS earlier on in the game, and now he's down by less than 10. So he's really started to claw his way back here after he's been able to get that kill early on.
Yeah, and it's in the jungle. We're still seeing Udyr popping once more, you know, starting to power farm, out farm Atlas here and getting a bit of leads. And it's showing in terms of the levels, which is going to be huge for Smite fights because Atlas can't even safely coin flip. He is not exactly 50-50, like a 45-55 right now. A little bit risky if he does want to steal anything.
Yeah, I do want to give some praise to Cutie here. He knows that he can't keep pushing up as he's just been punished over and over again by huge numbers of people just showing up mid lane to come and punish him, and popping along with comboing with that equalizer is such a threat, but we're going to have to take a break from that here potentially as Sly Lego heading on into the other side's jungle, but he's just going to get hit with a bowling ball in the face and he's going to turn back on out into the river.
Yeah, he's an Alistair. He's not going to be scared. It has the Unbreakable Will now at level 7 here. So even if Atlas wanted to try and do anything, he can just back out. And with Kite Azir there in a choke point, we talked about this, that red carpet there really hurts.
Oh, it certainly does. But Cutie's been playing this mid lane so well, though. Every time we glance over towards mid lane in the 1v1, he's just landing these Noxious Blasts straight up right on top of Rumble and abusing the movement speed that you gain from doing so to just land over and over Twin Fangs. He's winning these one-on-one trades, and it's showing in the CS gap, which is now ballooned to about 20.
Yeah, and it's really important to track Cutie here because he is going to be one of their late game big sort of threats and damage sources here, especially when you run into champions like Udyr. You can't burst an Udyr very efficiently, so you need to have enough sustained damage to shred them down. Between Bodas and Cutie, as long as they can lock down popping long enough, they can definitely just cut through him.
Yeah, no, sustained damage, the name of the game for this Akuma Claymores composition, because Mordekaiser and Lilia not going to be slouches on that either. Both have some low cooldown, high damage abilities that they're just going to be looking to spam over the course of these fights, assuming that they're able to survive that, mind you. And now it looks like both teams going to be grouping around for this Infernal Drake. Neither really wants to seed it away, although Kite Azir might have a bit of an angle here to pin Atlas into the ramp between the mid lane and the jungle, but he's just going to equalize it out here. Their Whiff Herald has been dropped in the mid lane, but they're just going to ignore it and potentially go for the invade here. An excellent flash petrifying gaze from Cutie here, going to solo out his opposing mid laner, but just in time, there's going to be Rel engaged on in the mid lane as well, and Cutie's been taken down as well. It's a 2 for 0 so far. It looks like Akuma Claymores have already lost this fight. They're going to be flash stunned onto Cutie, and he's going to be taken down as well, but Revnon looking to turn it around in the mid lane. He solo kills his opposition, and now they're just going to be moving on back here. Sly Lego going to go for an engage here onto Revnon. They're going even forward, and he cannot survive any farther. He trades 1-for-1 with the Alistair, but he ends up going down, and now Bodas is all alone in this mid lane, and he cannot fight Udyr, so they're just going to have to seed away this dragon likely.
Yep, they can't contest this right now. Their jungler's still dead. Atlas is unfortunately still in the death chamber. We'll be back in a couple of seconds here. I don't even think they can really interrupt with just Bodas and Dark Lord Matt. They are fairly well
look for it. The dragon's already down, but there might be a juicy Udyr left to pick up on the backside. They're going to stun him up. They're going to hit him with some feathers, and they're going to take him down. Another kill picked up. Ends up going to Dark Lord Matt. Probably would have preferred that end up on Bodas, but a kill's a kill, and gold is gold.
Yep. I mean, if you can't get the Inferno Drake, I think a Flaming Phoenix is a pretty even, well, not exactly even, but a pretty nice consolation prize to be able to pick up on the back end of that. And Gordo, I want to talk about how that fight went down, because it was actually a lot closer than expected there. Kite Azir putting down the equalizer in that choke point by the turret, and having Cutie and Atlas sit in it really turned it. If not, that could have been a lot more balanced.
No, Revnon finding himself jumped here in the top lane by Kite Azure here. Now they might just be going for the dive. It's going to be the tanking picked up by Devil Unicorn, and they're just going to kill him down with the Flame Spitter. Just going to end up taking out that Mordekaiser. Just cannot survive 1 versus 2 under the turret, and so tanky with that Sunfire Aegis. Going to be able to tank it up as long as he needs to.
Just really good proactive plays we've been seeing the entire game from Glacial. It really feels like we haven't seen the Claymores get a proactive move for the most part. The only one was that mid lane fight, which even then I would argue Shelly being dropped was the proactive move from Glacial to kick things off, and that's why we're seeing Glacial constantly finding the turrets, finding a gold lead, which is now expended to 2,000 here. It's not showing the items just yet, but on the Nyx's back, it's going to start showing in terms of items.
Certainly will, and they might even go for 2 here. They got Poppin coming along. He's taking control of the top red jungle, and he's just going to come on through here for potentially the turret. And it looks like Sly Lego, though, wants a little bit more. He's going to go in onto Dark Lord Matt, going to force him to dash on away, and now they're going for that kill under the turret. Not quite going to be able to pick it up, though, and now Poppin is going to find himself in the Death Realm with Mordekaiser. He's just trying to survive it out, goes into the turtle stance, takes a turret shot, but is going to survive anyway and be healed up by his AD carry, and now they're moving forward onto Revnon, and they're going to pick him up, Lava, using that Gale Force to finish off the kill. That's going to be another kill picked up for Glacial Esports. 2 for 0 in the top lane, Indoor turret in the top lane, and maybe even Inhibitor turret in the top lane.
Somebody needs to go back and deal with this here. Cutie and Bodas opted to keep pushing, and I understand the decision initially, but once Revnon went down, you need it to be backing there. They do lose that Inhibitor turret, but they don't lose the Inhibitor. So not the worst case scenario necessarily, but certainly something they'll have to keep in mind, because Udyr can always just go in there, take that down when you're distracted with Dragon, when you're distracted with potentially a Baron, and not only, okay, they aren't done yet. They are going to be able to pick up Herald on the back end of this, and it's going to be a super late Herald, which I personally love, because when you do drop it later on, you can threaten Dragon, you can threaten Baron, and it does so much more damage as time goes on.
Yeah, and maybe even throw it in the top lane, try to pick up an Inhibitor with it, as you've got that exposed here at just 18 minutes into the game. I'm not going to be picking it up before the Baron spawns, but once that thing does, that's going to be a major risk that Akuma's going to have to deal with for the rest of those games. The turret does not respawn, RMC.
Yeah, unfortunately not. And
Cutie maybe getting engaged on here. Sly Lego is so fast, and he's just running for him. He's going to get stunned up. He's going to mess up the pulverized headbutt combo. And so Sly Lego now just getting turned on around. He's going to get hit with Noxious Blast and Twin Fangs, but going to manage to survive and back on out. Just barely, though. He burned down so low.
The problem is what was expended for that. Sly Lego just ran at him with the Turbo Chem Tank there. 90-second cooldown. Cutie, to get away, had to burn both Ghost and the Petrifying Gaze. The Petrifying Gaze right now, roughly about 90 seconds as well, so we'll be up around the same time, but the Ghost being down means 1 less mobility spell for Cutie here. The good news is Flash is coming back up, but the bad news is they can just repeat this over and over again.
Yeah, Turbo Chem Tank Alistair just outspeeding the Ghost Cassiopeia there, able to run him down and force all of those tools to be blown away. Not going to end up picking up the kill at the end of the day, but crazy to even think about it. Crazy what that means for the rest of the game here is Cutie might just not be able to avoid this massive cow coming at him. And right on spawn, Glacial Esports going to be starting up this Baron.
Oh, they can't even contest this. Revnon doesn't have teleport. Cutie is back in base, so they do see the Baron going down, but they can't do anything but stare wistfully at it here and now. We've already seen the side of Glacial force a turret, an inhibitor turret here without Baron. Things are going to get real bad.
Sly Lego going for the engage here. Not going to land anybody with the pulverize, but Cutie going to get stunned up on top of the red carpet yet again. Going to be taken down by Lava Lala, and that's one of the major damage sources of the Akuma Claymores already gone. One of the major wave clear sources gone, and now they've got the Baron at 20 minutes, and they're going to be looking to push on in already.
Yeah, that's going to be probably 2 turrets down here before this Baron goes up. We should also mention Dragon is about to come up. It is that Cloud Drake here, that Cloud Soul. So not exactly one of the most important souls, but I feel like when you've got the likes of an Udyr here, the likes of a Kai'Sa, it is pretty big to let that Kai'Sa have that killer instinct, be even more mobile, and just Udyr Phoenix stance screaming and screeching as he runs at you on fire is always a scary thought.
Certainly is. Definitely one of the Drakes that you definitely like to see on the Udyr there. He's going to be able to get some real good advantages there and not going to be completely negligible in any of the other picks either. Sometimes the Alistair just going to want to ult for the movement speed, perhaps. It's going to stack on up along with his Turbo Chem Tank and going to be even more effective as Sly Lego's just been running down the members of the Akuma Claymores the whole game.
Yep, and I don't see that ending anytime soon here. You know, double turbo chem tags. There's no reason why they should be slowing down. It's been working great for them. For the side of Claymores, we do see now the Saracen Brace completed for Cutie. So that is going to be a little bit more damage in that back pocket there. But is it going to be enough? I really don't think so. And Revnon is really far behind the curve right now. Has not completed the second major item when everybody else pretty much on the map feels like they kind of have... It's just a rough team fight to try and pick.
It really is, and as we talked about in Champions, like Akuma wants the other team to be coming on into them, but they're so far behind that once we're in that situation, when they're already at either even or behind in numbers, the Glacial Esports are just going to rampage on through them with their gold leads. So really hard for the Claymores to navigate this with their composition. They're going to have to try to find some picks so that they can get these scenarios that they want.
And the Claymores, when they want to pick this fight with them being engaged upon, they need to do it with everybody but Revnon. Revnon is optional here. But so far, if we look how Glacial has played it, they've been often pulling them apart. They're rarely in a position. They're going to drop Shelly here, and it's going to do a huge chunk of damage to this turret. Almost takes it out right away.
Yeah, and Dark Lord Matt just getting engaged on here by popping. Maybe biting off a little bit more than he can chew, but it's going to be followed up with by Sly Lego. They are looking for this engage here, and they might have found it as they're going to get a multi-man sleep. There's going to be the teleport coming in from Devil Unicorn. He's a little bit late to the party, but he is here nonetheless. The ultimate from Mordekaiser already been blown as well, as is the Petrifying Gaze. It looks like both parties just going to back on away from each other here. A bit more favorable of a fight scenario for the Akuma Claymores, but they just aren't able to finish off anybody.
It feels so bad when you just lack that last little bit of damage and Popping just refuses to die. That's the second time now I've seen him under a turret where it's like, by all rights, by all means, he should be dead, but he survives. And that's the frustration of playing against Udyr. The nerfs that came in don't change that, like I said. It just changes how long it takes for him to get there. And unfortunately, with the Turbo Chem Tank, with the with the Force of Nature, pardon me, it really feels like we've hit that point. Bodas right now, because it is that Gale Force Xayah, not the Kraken Slayer Xayah, doesn't feel like they can quite cut down this bear, man, bird, turtle, just undying immortal zombie thing.
Is that joke too old now? Are we not allowed to tell it anymore? But anyway, it's going to be 3 dragons already picked up for the side of the Glacial Esports roster, and they're going to have another one spawning up in 2 minutes here. They're going to be looking for that soul, and the clock is just ticking here for the Akuma Claymores to find a scenario where they can make something happen. They need... Oh, looks like we had a little bit of a pause here, but we're going to be getting right back on into it.
Yep, looks like it was just Cutie disconnecting for a short, quick second here, but is right back. Thankfully, no real delay here, and we can continue watching this bit of a stall come through here. As the side of Glacial, they're opting to take a moment here to rest, reset, take down that last inner turret before the objective spawn at about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Both Soul and Baron will be on the table.
Certainly will be here, and now Cutie going to be stepping forward along with Atlas. They do need to look to clear away these minions, but they just can't get priority in any single lane, and that's going to be the first step if they want to be able to even think about contesting these dragons. They can't get vision, they can't get waves, they can't get anything, RMC.
And unfortunately, I don't... Glacial's doing such a good job of just clearing out the vision here. You want to let them engage into you, but now you're in the unfortunate position where Glacial can wait for you to engage into them. And in your forest, in all these choke points here, these long, beautiful corridors where the red carpet is just going to fill the entirety of the space.
Yeah, no, they just got complete control over the blue side jungle here from the side of Akuma Claymores, and they can't get into their own jungle. They can't show up to this dragon fight if they can't even take the paths to get there. And Glacial Esports just stopping that right at the source and making sure that it's never going to happen.
Now 30 seconds here, things are getting a little dicey, and look at the ward vision here coming out from Glacial. It's not at the objectives, it's at all the avenues to the objective there. You can't get to the dragon whatsoever. The Baron, you can tell, that's not Glacial's priority here. They're going to try and blitz down that dragon as quickly as they can, get the soul, and then rotate to Baron. So they managed to pick up both here with very little contest, because dragons, they're kind of squishy, and with this much damage at this point in the game, we're 26 minutes in, 2 major items and almost everybody here, you can see how quickly it's just going down.
Yeah, Akuma knows they have no chance for contesting this dragon. Soul goes up to Glacial Esports. No contest there, but it looks like Akuma going to take advantage of the fact that everybody was down there at once, and they can get a little bit of control over their red side jungle and potentially think about contesting this Baron. They got to be careful not to get engaged on, though.
They have to try here. They cannot just keep letting everything slip. If they lose this Baron as well here, it probably will mean the game.
Yeah, Devil Unicorn potentially finding himself caught out a little bit here, but he is so beefy, he's just going to be knocking targets away, and now he's moving on to Bodast. He's even a damage threat at this point. Now, 4 members on top of Devil Unicorn, but he's just going on in. He's got the red carpet laid down by his mid laner, and he's just going to be picking up a kill for himself, and now Lamalala finds his opportunity. He goes for the killer instinct to the back line, and he's just melted through targets. He's taking out Bodast first, and now he's got Revnan on top of him while his teammates take care of the rest. Revnan manages to take down Lamalala at the end of the day, but he is the only member of his team that has fallen down, and the rest are just bullying the members of the Akuma Claymores at this point. It's going to be another 2 kills picked up across the map from each other, and now the base is wide open for Glacial Esports.
Yep, just need to do the victory lap here. 10 seconds before Atlas is up, but by their lonesome here, Lilia is probably not going to be able to do anything whatsoever. And the next person up, unfortunately, is Dark Lord Matt. So they do lack damage. I don't see how they're going to clear this here. 1 inhibitor down, the next inhibitor being focused. Minions are coming in.
Yeah, luckily, the one silver lining that Akuma Claymores may be able to find is that they were able to take down Lamalala. That's a big, fat injection of shutdown gold that ends up going over to Revnan, and it also means that they aren't going to be able to melt through the base quite as quickly as they would be able to if they had their marksman with them.
True, yeah, if they had Lamalala there, probably Nexus Stars would have gone down there, but for now, they're going back to spend a lot of gold here. The last time we checked in, I think it was a 2,000 gold difference. It's been steadily increasing, and now we get a huge spike here. It's a 8,000 gold difference almost, with supers pushing in the mid and top lane here. Teleport is available for Devil Unicorn if they just want to split push with the Baron buff, or they can just group up into the bot lane. They have a big enough lead. We've seen them win the team fights here pretty much every time they've taken it, and they can just siege and let them super minions in the other lane do their job. Oh, Cutie.
Oh, no, Cutie. He's getting engaged on it yet again. Not going to get the Petrifying Gaze stun, but going to get stunned, going to get knocked up, going to get stunned again, and is going to end up taken down there. Devil Unicorn picking up another kill for himself, and Cutie just not able to keep himself safe this game, getting engaged on over and over again, and he just has no chance of surviving at this point.
Nope. 1, 6, and 3. It feels so rough when you look at that scoreline. 1, 6, and 3. Like, oh my goodness, Papa?
Maybe going a little bit deeper than he'd like to here,
Wait,
but he feels tanky. And now Slylego, it's a disease. They're all catching it, and they all have engaged fever, RMC, as they're going on in. Revnan going to pop that ultimate, going to be looking for a kill here on popping, but Lamalala is just popping off of the backside. He goes for the killer instinct. He's trying to pick up some more kills in the fountain, but now he's just going to turn around, focus in onto Revnan. He can't even finish off popping, and now he dives the fountain. He ends up being taken down, but the rest of his team, after the triple kill, can just try to move on here onto the base. They're just going to take down
Oh,
Cutie
dear.
as the last member left standing. He's going to get burned down by the Flame Spitter. The Stasis comes out for the disrespect, and now they're going to be finishing off the last Nexus turret and move right on to the Nexus. It looks like Glacial Esports going to move up 1-0 in this series.
Oh, Gordo. that
Wait.
that was certainly a game there. A strong statement from Glacial to start things off here in this game one. They picked a composition that didn't necessarily want to work together and wanted to all do their own thing, but they just played it so well. They just snowballed a lead in almost every single lane here, and that's with Revnon, who's known to be a great solo top laner, with Kaitazir into Cutie as well, who was losing that lane, with Lamilala playing the Kaisa, who has just been nerfed. All didn't matter. They just stomped every single lane.
Yeah, they certainly did, and just looks like that kind of disengaged kite back composition that the Claymores brought out just did not seem to work out after they fell behind in the early game. So gonna have to see when comes next game if they're gonna try to look for maybe a different look to potentially try to match some of these engaged tools, or whether they're just gonna try to ban away sections of this composition. We talked about how comfortable the solo laners of Glacial Esports were on these picks, and both came up and delivered this game, just filling out their roles perfectly well.
Yeah, we did get to see the damage chart there. Revnon actually did do the most damage this game, despite the rough start. So, as you said, the comfort picks, I think, definitely, or at least for the top laners, definitely did work out here. I don't think it's much of necessarily a draft difference, though. I would argue that Udyr needs to be banned if you don't have a specific counter. I feel it in every elo that's happened in Proving Grounds. We've seen it in international play. We've seen it in regional play. We've seen it. Udyr, if you don't have an answer to him, you need to ban him. The Cassiopeia, the Xayah maybe could have countered later in the game, but early on they just could not match.
Absolutely could not there. And with that, we are going to take a quick break here while we regroup and get ready for game two. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the Risen Divine League. We are coming to you with Game 2 of the Akuma Claymores up against Glacial Esports. We saw Glacial Esports able to handily take that Game 1, but we're going to see if the side of the Claymores is able to bounce back here in Game 2. My name is Gordo, and I am joined once again by RMC. And RMC, what are we expecting from this Game 2?
I'm expecting some changes here, and right away, the Udyr and Poppy ban. I love seeing it, and I like the fact that Glacial is banning the Udyr because they got it last time. They're now on the red side, and they obviously recognize the power of that particular pick here.
Yeah, they're going to communicate right away here that, you know what, we think that letting that Udyr through, definitely a mistake. So we're not going to make the same one, and we're going to make sure that that one is off the table this game. But going to be the Kaisa picked up here for the Akuma Claymores. We did see Lamalala able to have a great performance on that one in Game 1.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the power picks in that game one were the Udyr and the Kaisa here. So one gets banned, you pick the other one here. That is sort of the prerogative of blue side, having that first pick. And Glacial now, without that Kaisa, without the Udyr, their game plan has to completely change here. I think the Rumble can work in isolation, the Poppy banned away as well here. I'm not sure what else Devil Unicorn has quite up his sleeve, because Poppy, as you mentioned, was the thing that he was spamming almost non-stop in solo queue.
Yeah, gonna have to resort to a little bit of something else here, but it is going to be, it looks like teams are mirroring each other this game, up until the Sivir gets locked in, of course. Looks like Glacial Esports going to lock on in their bot lane. They're going to be taking the Rel Sivir duo here.
Okay, I love it already here. I actually think Sivir is pretty strong right now in the current meta, also because right now it feels like teams just want to go in. That's why we're seeing so much Kaisa. That's why we used to see so much Samira here. Samira is gone. Kaisa is taken. What else likes to go in? Sivir likes to go in here on the hunt with your entire team. I'm expecting, some tankier picks. Maybe not the Rumble if this is your team comp here. Let's see what else comes out, whether they bring some AoE crowd control or whether they just opt for a full brawler deathball style composition here.
Yeah, the Akuma Claymores here, though, going to be locking in the Rek'Sai this game. That is maybe a little bit less of the immediate meta right now, but I do believe Atlas has a couple of games on it played in solo queue already this season. So going to be looking to see if he can make that champion happen. But ooh, we got a Nocturne hover, and it's going to be locked in for Glacial Esports.
Okay, both the potentially junglers. I'm going to assume that's a Nocturne jungle till I see the rest of the picks here. I mean, we have seen Nocturne show up mid a couple of times recently. Does do pretty well there as well. But I'm going to assume it's jungle right now. Not exactly Void. It's Nocturne the Void Monster. I'm not sure. But Rek'Sai certainly is. That's an Atlas comfort pick coming through here. Kind of like the Mordekaiser top for Revnon. You do expect him to sort of find a lot of ganks, a lot of kills initially here. And they're not... not a piece that necessarily fits into a composition, but with a Thresh, with Kaisa, a lot of flexibility here. And depending on what the solo lanes are, they can go from pick, they can go for split push. Probably not going to be team fight though.
Yeah. Gonna have to step in here as the lore expert. Nocturne, not a void monster, he's a demon. RMC, okay. Keep your species separate there. But as we are going to see, just a couple more mid lane bans coming on through from both sides, and that Echo lock in pretty much takes Nocturne mid lane. Actually, he doesn't take Nocturne mid lane off the table because either of these champions can swap between mid and jungle.
Oh, Glacial keeping it spicy here. That's actually really good drafting to be able to make sure that your opponents aren't sure what's going to go where. Either way, though, you know that there's probably going to be some sort of assassin-style champion in the mid and in the jungle. The real question right now is it AD or AP? And the Silas pickup coming through from Claymores is a very solid counter to either of the mid. Really, Silas does okay, decently into Echo, and if you can steal that Paranoia ultimate away from Nocturne as well, you can match the roams, you can deny the vision equally.
No, and then it's going to be the Silas coming on through for the Akuma Claymores, along with that Cho'Gath. So that's going to round out their team composition. Are going to be two Void Monsters on the side of the Claymores for this game, and one of them is going to be a big boy in this game, as he's going to be blind picking that Cho'Gath into the top lane. Definitely a very powerful top laner right now, and we'll see what the response is. A Yone lock-in, so definitely going to be a little bit of flexibility between these solo laners here, regardless of which one is which.
Holy, I'm looking at Glacial. I was thinking a death ball comp. This isn't a death ball. This is death bullet here. Yone, Nocturne, Echo are so mobile. They can dive your backline. Sivir on the hunt as well. And Rel alone, I feel like, should be able to give enough peel, hopefully, to that Sivir, but it really does feel like Lamilala is going to be on their own here on the Sivir. The rest of the team not going to be peeling too much here. It's really heavy engage, and I feel for Bodash because this is a composition that tells me we want the backline. We want to kill this Kaisa here. Um, your ADC is kind of squishy. That's who we're going to just try and burn immediately.
Yeah, for sure. And Cutie here with the lock-in on the Silas has a suite of ultimates available to him. He is going to be real excited to be seeing all of these here. He's got the Fate Sealed from the Yone for the long-range dash. He's got the Paranoia from the Nocturne for the even longer range dash. He's got so many mobility tools in this Echo and this Sivir. And the Magnet Storm from Rel, that AP ratio just got buffed last patch. So Cutie going to be looking at this and say, oh, you got AP rel buffs? I got AP rel buffs for my Silas ultimates.
And honestly, that Magnet Storm actually is a pretty good ultimate to pick up here to buy time for your Kaisa to just shred through everybody as well. Because we already spoke about the Nocturne, Echo, Yone, all of them can dive in. Pressing the Magnet Storm is a pretty safe way to try and peel for your ADC. The dive on the side of Claymores is not as strong. You've got the Rek'Sai, you've got the Silas, but Cho'Gath, not known to be the most diving of champions. I have seen some people experiment with that turbo chem tank. It is still very scary to see the Cho'Gath, 10 stacks fully built up, just running at you at Mach speed there. It's going to be interesting, and I don't envy you, Gordo, because I think these fights are going to be super chaotic here.
Yeah, we'll see how it ends up, and based on how some of this draft in client is occurring, it does look to be early on like it might be Devil Unicorn taking the Echo in the top lane and Kite Azure taking the Yone in the mid lane, but that is still subject to change. But we'll treat it like it might be the case for the time being. So, how do you feel about Echo into Cho'Gath? As those are some maybe top laners we haven't seen in quite a while.
I'd be honestly a bit surprised if that is ultimately what they opt to run with here. The Silas, I mean, sorry, the Echo into the Cho'Gath, it does okay initially, but once Cho'Gath starts to get a little bit more tankiness under his belt, that's really not going to be a nice lane for that Echo whatsoever here. I do feel like the Yone and the Nocturne, both of them have better damage profiles to just sort of cut through the Cho'Gath potentially here. But the Yone into Silas, I think, is a fairly solid matchup, a fairly good one for the Yone. It's a very volatile one here. And depending on how the junglers come in with the Rek'Sai, with a Nocturne, post 6, both of them have huge bursts. The mid lane is going to feel more like a 2v2 at all times rather than a 1v1. But pre 6, Rek'Sai's ganks are a lot more devastating here. So there is a window of opportunity for Atlas to try and snowball the lanes in the top and in the mid out of control.
Yeah, no, farming junglers nerfed or not, Popping has no real choice here but to try to hard farm up to that level 6. Such is the nature of Nocturne. And I guess we can check the RMC's surprised box here as Devil Unicorn
Yep.
locked into the Echo. No more swaps available. It looks like it's going to be that Echo top lane unless the players themselves are swapping roles.
Okay, so that makes me feel like we're not going to see Devil Unicorn want to stick into lane too long here. I expect to see sort of ganks being thrown out constantly, a lot of map movement from Glacial here to try and find ganks. And that top side, the trifecta in the top end here for Glacial right now, Echo, Nocturne, Yone can potentially just absolutely burst down any target they find. If they find Rek'Sai, if they find Silas, they find Cho'Gath, at level 6, the Cho'Gath isn't tanky enough. And I feel like later on in the game, with those three, they have enough damage. The only question is, can they get out alive from the feast, from the rupture, from the damage? Maybe Revnon trades 1-for-1 at best. But that top side of the map is going to be really scary to walk in blind.
Yeah, certainly is going to be there. Now, really curious to see how Lamalala is going to be able to handle this lane in the bot on the Sivir into Kaisa. Does have a little bit of a range matchup for himself there, and additionally does have that Rel for backup, which he's going to be able to speed up and go for some long range engages with that Death Bullet comp that you coined just a few minutes ago, RMC. So going to be looking on the side of the Akuma Claymores, rather, to defend themselves and to find a way to be able to sustain through all of these engages.
And that does concern me a little bit, considering what we saw in game one. Their ability to soak up the pressure wasn't super strong. It was what they were known for last split, where they were able to just sort of sit in lane and find lane advantages. But with all the changes here, it really feels like proactivity, grouping up, making those moves as a teams it just feels so much stronger. And Glacial Esports showed us they can do that really well game one with an even bigger snowball composition here in game two here. If they can get rolling, this game might be even faster.
It certainly might be, but we're going to have to get into game to find out. So we're going to have to take a quick break here to get loaded on up into the game. We will be right back for that game 2 Risen Divine League action. Be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 here in the Risen Divine League between the Akuma Claymores on the blue side up against the Glacial Esports on the red side. Glacial Esports sitting up 1-0 in this series and going to be looking to close it out right here and now, while Akuma trying to stay alive a little bit longer. My name is Gordo, and I am joined by RMC. And RMC, we might have a little bit of level 1 shenanigans going on down here.
Oh, yeah. Devil Unicorn wasn't paying attention. Didn't quite catch the initial bit.
Gets
that would have mattered.
He's going to end up taken down here. They wanted to give that over to the Kaisa, but not quite able to do so. But that's going to mean Revnon going to pick up a first blood for himself on that Cho'Gath. He's going to walk into that bush, channel the recall right away. He wants to come into lane with an extra item.
And you know what? I don't even think giving it Kaisa would have been the optimal move. I think Revnon getting it, it's going to be better because he's going to come to lane here. He's going to absolutely try and dominate. And that is how the Claymores like to roll here. So really, really solid there. Going to be rough for Devil Unicorn. And Gordo, before we go any further, we're talking about it off air. I didn't like the top echo here. Oh, never mind. Forget that.
Never mind. We don't get a break. Is Cutie going to be potentially looking for an engage here on Lala, but they are just going to back out away from each other. Not enough Akuma members close by to make that happen any farther.
Ooh, action. Hot and heavy here right away here. Okay, now maybe we get a vote. Pretty sure we do, because the junglers are Revnon and Devil Unicorn. Actually, nah, they'll be fine. They're both kind of tanky. And speaking of tanky,
looks like we have it. This is, yeah, you there, RMC? Yep. I think you lagged out a little bit there for a second, but we got you back. So, yeah, like you were saying, we got a tank Echo coming up in this top lane, and well, maybe a little bit of fighting in the bot lane. We just do not get to discuss this point tonight. Is Lala going to be forced to flash on away? But the hook lands at max range. It is going to allow Bodas to pick up that kill, and now Sly Lego going to find himself in a 1v2, and he's going to get chunked down oh so low, but it looks like he's going to be able to escape without blowing the flash.
That early kill for Kaisa came through. Didn't even need to give the top one over. Bodas will make their own advantages here, and that now means the side lanes are both in the favor of the Claymores. It's early days yet here. We're not even at 3 minutes, so it's not game over at level 1 or level 2, but it certainly is going to be rough. And with a composition like Glacial has here, which wants to snowball, it's going to be really, really rough.
Yeah, it certainly is. And now we're going to see Kite Azure potentially getting engaged on here. Cutie going to go in for that stun. He's going to dodge away from the Thresh Hook, but he's going to get flayed nonetheless. And they're going to try to chase it a little bit farther, but he does manage to escape it back under his turret.
It is going to be Kite Azure. Without the teleport, did opt for the Ignite for the Yone, as is normal, as is traditional here. So will, unfortunately, lose out a bit of minions here. Thankfully, the wave is not in such a position that he's going to lose the entirety of it. Just maybe about half that wave.
Yeah, and now, finally, we can breathe for a moment, RMC, and I'd like to talk about Tank Echo for everybody for just a moment. Tank Echo was how people originally, when Echo was a new champion, this was the first way people were really bringing him out in competitive. He was coming in top lane and building a full tank, just being able to get so much value there as he could just sit in the middle of a team, throw out all of his heavy base damages to actually be a substantial damage dealer. And then once his health got low, he could just regen that all right back up with the Chrono Shift and be a huge tanky beast all over again. So Devil Unicorn might be looking to repeat some of that action here tonight, even though some Echo changes have come through since those days.
Yeah. Nowadays, with mana being as scarce as it is going to be a little bit dicier, but the junglers are ganking here.
Ooh, Atlas going for an engage here, going to go for the flash knockup onto Lamalala, going to get him pretty low, but he is appearing to be able to just run away here, but the flay back in from Sly Lego. He still has the flash, though, was able to save it earlier, and so he's going to be able to stay alive. One more Prey Seeker comes through, threatening to take down the Rel, but he is going to stay alive. Popping, looking around in the top jungle, just going to take a little rupture to the face. It looks like everyone just going to back on away.
Well, the jungle ganks successful for the side of Claymores once again. For the side of Glacial, they didn't quite find that success. And that bot lane right now, that gank didn't get any kills, didn't really even burn any summoners, but it's kind of won the lane here for Bodas. They have a massive, massive advantage here that they can continue to push, continue to snowball. And if Atlas wants to, he can always just revisit down there to get yet another gank off. And without the summoners, maybe they can make something happen, or even if they force them back, that's going to be another free wave for this bot lane for the Claymores.
Yeah, Cutie and Azure are just fighting it out here in the mid lane, but Azure doing a great job of managing that Soul Unbound. They're able to keep himself nearly topped off while he chunks down Cutie to almost half and just keeps using these knockups that he has stored up to interrupt abilities from the Sylas. Doing a great job here in this lane.
Dark Lord Matt just walked past the control ward twice on the way up and on the way down. Unfortunate here. And that ward is doing a lot of work because he's walked past it twice. I don't expect it to get cleared, and that means that Kite Azure is going to be nice and safe in this mid lane, at least from the bottom side. But that's only in the mid lane, as the side lanes right now, bot is definitely going all Claymores and top side so far. Devil Unicorn is burning through his mana pool.
Yeah, and there goes Kite Azure on that trading pattern yet again, just going in with the Soul Unbound to duel it out with Cutie and being rewarded for doing so. But yeah, that ward is certainly going to be putting in a lot of mileage there. We'll see how long it survives. Keep close eyes on that little pink bush ward from the side of Glacial Esports for this game. Kite Azure takes a turret shot for fun, maybe looking to interrupt the recall, but it's going to end up completed for Cutie here, and you got to believe he's going to TP on back. Ooh, a little bit of a roam up from Dark Lord Matt, though. They might be going for this, as they are going to steal away the Fate Seal. He's going to go for it, but he finds himself in a 1v3. Cutie has nowhere to go now, and he's likely to be taken down. A huge two-man stun comes through from Devil Unicorn, and they're going to be able to pick up Cutie as a result, and now the fight continues. Devil Unicorn ults back on in and is able to pick up a second kill here, and now Atlas getting engaged on by the Rel. He's going to get taken down as well. All of the members of Glacial Esports are here for the party, and they're going to end up picking up 3 kills. Now maybe Devil Unicorn is bitten off a bit more than he can chew. He's got to dash on over that wall, but he is going to be able to do so and escape. An excellent fight for the side of Glacial Esports, getting themselves right back in this game.
That's that sort of trifecta we're talking about on the top side here, with all that damage threat. No paranoia for Popeng just yet there, but that could have been a lot worse if paranoia was available. And Devil Unicorn might be going tank Echo later, but for now, he's still going straight AP, which I do appreciate. Maybe you can't kill Cho'Gath, but you can certainly kill everyone else.
Oh yeah, our Tank Echo dreams are ruined, but that is just fine. And you know, he is still going to be getting good mileage out of that grasp. He's in a melee versus melee matchup. The Cho'Gath can't punish him too harshly, especially now that he's ahead if he tries to go on in for these trades. So he's just going to be trying to use up that E to be able to get a quick health proc, heal up a little bit, and then just back on out.
Yeah, again, he'll have to watch his mana, though. That is one of the reasons why things like Tank Fizz, Tank Echo not super particularly viable in the current meta here. Dark Lord. Another control ward does spot them out. Dragon is on the table though, and it is the Claymores who get there first. They've already started this up, and with that vision cleared, I doubt we'll see a contest from Glacial.
Rest in peace, MVP Ward. It's been taken down. It's been removed from the map, and now we're left with only memories. But does seem that Kite Azure are going to be looking for some more trades. Every time Yone uses Soul Unbound to go for those trades, I get faked out and think he's going in deep. But he's really just going to snap right on back. But meanwhile, Double Unicorn has some control in this top lane. We talked about how that first blood was going to be Revnon was going to be able to dominate, but 2 more kills and an assist picked up on the backside for Double Unicorn means that that might be the opposite now.
It's going to be a little bit rough for Revnon. Right now, he is level 7, has 2 stacks of that piece, I believe, at this time. So not quite that super tanky monster just yet here. But over time, he will grow and it will become more of a problem. So I do want to see some attention paid to the top side while they still can take down this Void monster.
Yeah, that window gonna be closing down eventually, you've got to believe, but it looks like both sides just kind of grouping around down here in the bot lane. No dragon to be taken away, but there is some jungle control to be taken. It's popping. Now is level 6. It has access to that paranoia, so gonna be very curious to see. It has such a big cooldown early. Got to see how they're gonna be able to use it. That was a Fate Seal used by Kite Azure to go for a little bit more of a fight here, but did not manage to land it onto Cutie, so he's just gonna be able to dash on out of there at the sacrifice of a few lane minions to this turret. Dark Lord Matt gonna land a hook here, but he doesn't have the follow-up. He's going on in anyway, though. He's gonna be using that flay, but now here comes the re-engage as the Nocturne Paranoia comes on through. It just bursts out Cutie right away. Now the Rek'Sai gonna be looking to trade it on back. He does get it on a popping, but now he's flashed out on the wrong side of the map, and he's getting chased out by Kite Azure. Kite Azure, you gotta believe he's gonna be able to take this one down, but doesn't manage to do so. He has to snap back to his soul, and so Atlas gonna be able to escape here, but he's still in the wrong team's jungle. Where can he go, RMC, as he's being hunted by this Yone, and he still has the timer on him, so he can't execute quite yet. Yone is hunting, hasn't found him yet. He's using the tremor sense to see where Yone is and just dash around over walls, so he's been able to find his escape route. But now, as I'm saying that, Lama Lala getting engaged on in the bot lane. The Killer Instinct comes on through, but the Rel is there to back him up, so just going to be Bodas having to flash on away, and no more kills are taken.
Oh, Atlas, the tremor sense. 20 health, and with the red buff too, he was healing up, barely getting away. Bodas, who I feel like we need to applaud right now. That bot lane play, when you're getting collapsed on by 3, including the Echo 4, really, because Kite Azure, was on his way down as well. He played that so well. Okay, just tried to run back. The parallel convergence was there. So he played it aggressively, went forward to pull them all, and then managed to snap backwards with the flash, with the kill instinct. Immaculately played, and he gets out alive, which is a huge win when he's winning this lane here. He doesn't need to get kills. He just needs to not die, extend the CS lead.
Yeah, and he's got quite the CS lead built up for himself here. Almost 20 sitting here at about 11 minutes. And that's going to be the largest that anyone's picked up in the game so far. So that is definitely going to be the hopes and dreams of Akuma Claymore is going to be stocked up in Bodast here. As we can see, some of the carries across the map for Glacial Esports have some good gold in their pockets. And they've got quite the dive comp to try to shut Bodast down. Before
Bodas is in for a rough time trying to dodge out everybody dive in here. We do see the first couple of mythics come through, and they're all mobility mythics. Turbo Chemtech for Revnon, as we kind of suggested here. The Rocket Belt for Devil Unicorn, and the Prowler's Claw for Atlas here. So a lot of gap closes. Are we about to see another fight?
Oh, the Paranoia gets popped here, and they're just going to be going for the engage on Rek'Sai. They feel he stepped up a little bit too far, and they might be right, as they're going to be able to shut him on down, and Azure is going to be able to escape. But popping, going to be picked up here, but in trade for Cutie, it's a 2-for-1 so far, and they're chasing even farther onto Revnon. He can grab onto the Dark Passage, but they are blocking it here, as he is going to be able to just walk on away at the end of the day.
He didn't even need to. He is starting to get to that tanky point there, and all the upfront burst was already blown onto Atlas, onto Cutie there. So might have been just trying to bait. But it is, once again, Glacial coming out on top in terms of getting more kills here. Besides the first 2 kills we saw early in the game, the first one for Revnon in that level 1, and the sort of 2v2 in the bot lane here, it's been Glacial slowly winning these, always getting that 1 extra kill off the back end of it. And this time, they get the Herald as well.
Yeah, no, and that's 2 for 2 kills on 2 for 2 Nocturne ultimates there. So Popping gonna be feeling pretty good here on this pick. You do need to just keep getting good influxes of gold on this Nocturne in order to remain effective, especially as he's gone for this Gore Drinker build. So he's gonna be looking to be in the middle of people, trying to regen up with Umbra Blades plus Gore Drinker procs. And if he has, the more gold he has, the better chance he has of actually surviving and bursting someone out.
So far, he has been going down almost every time he initiates here. He's been the sacrifice, but as he starts, getting a bit more damage here, the faster he can burst someone down, as well as if he does build any resistances here. We see the cloth armor coming through. He might actually start surviving this. They're going to go from bad to worse if you can't even take down these sort of assassins. I'm not even sure if that's the right term for them here, but the amount of damage, burst damage you put out, I'm going to call them assassins, diving your backline. If you can't kill them, it's not a good look for you. Lamalala?
Yeah, and Popping, honestly, he's okay with living that life, but Atlas actually going to be going in for an engage here with the Prowler's Claw, dash on through, go for the execute, and just picks him up along with Bodast. That's going to be another kill in the Kai'Sa's pocket, remains the main character of this game for the Claymores, and Lamalala going to find himself down in the base yet again.
I was just thinking for a second here, King Kong and Godzilla is coming out. This feels like a King Kong situation here. You've got a monster in the top lane, you've got a pretty girl in the bot lane here. But it's kind of a mix of, I feel like, because that's not a huge monkey in the top lane. That is Shogath a lizard? What is Shogath? What kind of...
He's a salamander. He's got, like, stripes in his base skin. I'll call him that.
That's enough, right? To Godzilla here, so...
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's the one with the Godzilla skin, right? Sort of, I think. He's got like I don't know, what's prehistoric Cho'Gath? I guess that's not really, it's bones. It's not really Godzilla, but it's close enough. As Devil Unicorn gonna be going in for this trade here with Atlas. Atlas going for the gank, but just gonna find himself chunked to about 1/3 HP, but he goes in for the ultimate as well. He might just end up finding himself in trade here, and once again, Popping is waiting around with the Paranoia. He's here to turn the fight. They pick up the opposing juggler, but now Cutie's here as well. He pops the Paranoia as well to try to go in right back onto Nocturne. If you're paranoid, I can be paranoid as well, and now they're gonna be trading back and forth onto kills. A big shutdown picked up onto Revnon. Bodast gonna go on a killing spree here, and now he's going for even more. He's gonna try to pick up Lamalala. A double kill, 1 versus 2 in the bot lane. Are you kidding me? As once again, fighting continues in the top lane, but it looks like everybody's just backed out away from each other a little bit here. The Rift Herald going to be taken down, but Cutie actually going to be looking to potentially defend this right before the Rift Herald charges, but now he's just got to back away.
We could keep going here. They have the burst.
Oh, no. Another stun as Kite Azure going to be going in even farther, but now a huge hook pulls him back under the turret, and now there's a teleport coming on through from Revnon. Akuma does not want to let this fight go. Kite Azure decides to go back in. He's going to look for the trade here, but he gets regen back up by the abilities from Silas. The W going to keep him on alive. He's going to trade back, and now he's going to die for his sins. Atlas going to go down, and now Devil Unicorn maybe on the wrong side of dodges. He's going to get shut down as well. A huge influx of gold goes over to Atlas there.
Okay, Gordon, we've been saying before this that it was Glacial finding the extra kill on the back of fights here. For the first time this game, in the fight, it is Akuma coming out ahead with extra kills across the board, and a lot of that off the back of Bodast in this bot lane right now. The map feels kind of split. Glacial runs the top side. Runs it and kind of ints it a little bit sometimes, the top side that we just saw, but the bot side is being run by Bodast here, and Bodast is becoming an absolute monster, unassisted by the support as well.
Yeah, I can't even tell what happened in that bot lane. We were focused on the top lane fight, and then all of a sudden, Bodast just picking up a double kill for himself. He's dominating this lane, but now another Paranoia gonna come on through from Nocturne. He's going to be looking for this pickup onto Cutie, going on in, trading back and forth, and he does so much damage along with the Gore Drinker as well as a BF sword he's picked up for himself. One more Duskbringer, gonna solidify that solo kill. Jungle on mid laner.
Real scary here. 4, 4, and 4. Yes, he died a lot here, but look at Cutie. 0, 5, and 6. Unfortunately, all the kills have been going to Atlas, to Revnon, and Cutie's not been able to find any for themselves here. And the map was split top bottom. If everybody starts looking to the bot side, I'm not sure how it goes. I'm not sure if Bodast can handle this trifecta from the top.
Atlas is alone here. He's likely just going to get engaged on here by Devil Unicorn. Going to go really low, but Devil Unicorn maybe a little incredulous at the engage as well. Fears some other members might be hanging around, and he's just going to back on away.
That is going to be that top lane turret going down. Herald was already dropped earlier. It is fairly low right now. Can they find anything on the back end of this? Revnon's on his own.
Yeah, Hard to tell as Bodast is here, though, dishing out that damage. It is, a big rupture comes through onto Sly Lego, and he's got nowhere to go now. He's just going to get CC layered on top, and Revnon going to be able to pick that up with the Feast.
Lego's passive, the Rel passive, not going to do diddly squat against Feast here. That is true damage. I don't care how much armor or magic resistance you steal. If you don't steal his health, it kind of doesn't matter. So really solid pickup to find somebody, but it's just a support. There's nothing to get off the back end of it here. Herald is coming up in 20 seconds, but no one's looking at it. Dragon, likewise, and that seems to be the objective here.
We're going to take a little bit of a break here. We're going to get on into a pause, but that's good. It gives me an opportunity to breathe, and it gives us a chance to talk about Popeng and what his objectives are going to be this game. With as he gets later in the game, we keep talking about how he's dying every time he goes in, but he should be okay with that, especially as this game starts to get on later. If Popeng can just pop the paranoia, get on top of somebody like Bodast, and just trade 1-for-1, that is the best existence a Nocturne can dream of.
Yeah, pretty much here. And that's one of the things with Assassins is normally you don't, especially in solo queue advice here for everybody out there. Dying is not a good thing. Trading 1-for-1 is not how you want to go. Normally. Here, because Popeng is playing that sort of assassin, diving the backline here, if he can trade his life for a kill plus assists, as long as his team's coming out ahead in the fight, it's worth it here. And it does look like the issue is over. It was Kite Azir having some sort of lag issues here. So we should be getting back momentarily here.
Yeah, that is where I am. And we are going to just be getting everything synced on up here. Going to make sure that we have the best broadcast for you guys possible. All right, and we are right on back here. We have got everything resynchronized. We got the pause dealt with, and we are going to be getting right back up into the action here. As looks like this dragon about to be spawning here, RMC. Let's see. Is both teams likely going to want to put themselves on the second Drake here, and both teams going to be grouping around the bot lane?
It is the Claymores who are here first. If they can find Popeng, it's huge.
Yeah, it'll be a huge deal if they're able to pick him on up here, and they are going to be able to do so. The rupture comes through, the damage from Atlas comes through, and they are able to finish off Popeng here. And just like that, it appears that the side of Glacial Esports is not going to be able to contest for this dragon. They've got no jungler, and so it's just going to end up going on over to the side of Akuma. And that's going to be another feast stack for Revnon here, as you can stack infinitely off these epic monsters.
There is a maximum size cap onto Cho'Gath here, but there isn't a cap onto actually how much health he has. He's currently at 2,586 max health, and really, he's got a Frozen Heart and Turbo Chem Tank. Frozen Heart doesn't give you any health. That's straight armor, mana, and ability haste there, so a lot of that coming off his passive right now, and I think Akuma Claymore's pretty happy with where they're sitting right now with the Feast, with the Smite here. It's going to be difficult for Glacial to contest major neutral objectives.
It certainly is. Kite Azure going hard once again in the paint, trying to get onto Cutie here. It is going to end up blowing his flash for it, so great trade there by Kite Azure in the long lane, punishing the opposing mid laner.
That is Fate sealed down, but at this point, you know, it's the cooldown is kind of long, but it probably will be back up in time for the next major objective here. Baron will be coming up about 20 seconds, but I don't think either team is strong enough. We're not seeing Kraken Slayers. We're not seeing Leandries here to burn through it. So most likely the next big team fight will be at Dragon, and we're mostly going to be just looking at individual catches. And for catches, I'm looking at Popeng and Devil Unicorn to be the ones to kick this off.
Yeah, and they are going to be the ones who can dive the hardest and dive with the best of them, especially if we get that Sivir ultimate factored on in there. These guys are going to be running at the other team as fast as the eye can see, but first going to be looking to group up around here. Might potentially be a little bit of a Baron contest. We saw a 20-minute Baron come out of the side of Glacial last game, not going to be the case this game, as the game's a lot closer here, but Atlas going to be invading into that red jungle to make sure they have a little bit of vision control for themselves, and both teams going to be fighting for mid prio.
Yeah, a bit of a setup, and you can see Popping waiting in the wings. Atlas as well. Both these junglers, and they pulled the trigger on Lalamela.
Comes the engage. Atlas just going to go on in with the Prowler's Claw, going to pop the ultimate and just going to execute down onto the opposing AD carry. He's going to trade 1-for-1 here, but much like Popping, he is willing to take that trade, although that is going to be shutdown gold picked up for the side of Kite Azure, and he is going to be sitting pretty on that.
I don't know if that trade was necessarily worth it here. Lamelala is really far behind. 0-4. I believe it was 0-3 and 0 actually before that kill on Atlas went down. And as a minion caster myself, I can tell you we ain't worth much, and Lamelala is basically a glorified minion caster at this point.
Yeah, I may have gotten a little bit too excited to see the AD carry go down there, but still gonna be a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, and not gonna be too impactful either way. We're gonna see what Kite Azure can do with that newfound shutdown gold. He is sitting strong at 3-1-4 on this Yone here. Gonna be looking to likely complete his Eye Edge second, and once he gets there, he's gonna really up his damage potential.
In this bot side, wisely backing off here, if not probably could have been dived. And for the side of Glacial so far, Gordo, I've not seen Lamelala actually do anything on this silver, which disappoints me because I like the silver pick. I actually think it's not a bad pick into the Kai'Sa, but it definitely hasn't worked out. Is down almost 50 CS, and I don't think we've seen a single on the hunt used offensively so far to start the engage. It's always been used for Lamelala to run away.
Yeah, and that's because it's always Atlas going in on these engages. He's making good use out of this Prowler's Claw and out of all the dashes he has access to in his kit. And the huge execute that he's bringing on his ultimate, he can just start bursting through targets here on this lethality-focused build. And he is feeling really strong in this game and poses a huge threat to most of the squishy members on the side of Glacial Esports. If they're not going for tank Echo, then they don't really have a true front line outside of this realm.
Yeah. If we look at the items completed as well right now, Atlas is further ahead than you might expect for a jungler. The nerfs that came through do sort of set junglers a little bit behind in terms of jungle farming. So the later you go, the bigger discrepancy. But he's just matching up with everybody else. 2.5 items here for Atlas. And I'm looking at this ADC differential. We talked about the 0-4-1 for Lamelala. Bodas is 4-0-4 here, up a full completed item. The collector coming through. Whereas you look at Lamelala, you're just sitting on the Mythic and a Sheen. That's not conducive to any big team fight where the ADCs are present. And not conducive actually for assassinations either, because Kai'Sa is basically an assassin when she's ahead.
Yeah, no, 404 lane opponents not found here as Bodast is just dominating in this bottom lane. He's got a huge CS lead for himself, as you brought up, and he's just had no competition down here for pretty much the entire game. Was able to pick up a good substantial lead early and was just able to balloon that all on his own, even in 1v2 situations. And now it looks like Revnon might be going for a little bit more of an engage here. That Rupture going to be shielded away by Popping, and now he's just going to look to trade back and forth a little bit, but he's going to learn the error of his ways really quickly, as that is a hail of Blades Cho'Gath, just throwing those Vorpal spikes on top of everybody. Devil necessarily going to dodge away from the Rupture there, barely able to escape, but it's just Revnon rather, just dumping down damage onto opposing targets and not being punished for it at all.
He actually nerfed the Vorpal spikes from Cho'Gath, I believe it was last patch at 1.3 here, but he's still super strong and infinitely skills. Paranoia being thrown out right now just to try and inspire just that, the paranoia, trying to make them think that maybe he comes in, but without the rest of the team there, that is, oh, sorry, that
was Cutie's paranoia, actually.
Pardon me there. I'm getting a little paranoid thinking it's the other side, but yeah, to deny, I guess, to make sure no steal coming through from Popping there. And you know what? It's overkill, but it works, especially when you didn't have full vision of where Popping was.
Yeah, for sure, and is going to make sure that they're able to secure that Baron. And also, I believe paranoias cancel each other out. They don't grant vision; they just take it away. So if by popping the paranoia there, Cutie actually prevents Popping from popping his own paranoia in order to come in for the Dragon Steel, because he can't get vision even on the wards then.
And you do need a target, of course. Now we are seeing perhaps a collapse here. Both teams are fully committing.
Okay, this is the real paranoia. This is the one from Popping here, as he is going to dive over the wall, go in for Atlas here, along with Devil Unicorn, and they're just trying to chunk him on out right away. He's trying to escape with the ultimate. It looks like he might be able to do so, but now there is the Fate Seal. They're going on in onto Bodas, so they're going to force him to flash on over the wall. And now a flash after by Lamelala, going to allow them to shut him on down. And now Dark Lord Matt is going to be left all alone, and he's going to get taken down as well. This fight is going terribly for the Akuma Claymores, as they are just getting rampaged across by Glacial Esports here. A killing spree picked up by Kite Azure. Azure, and now the big old chokeout is left with just a sliver of HP, and he's gonna get taken down by Devil Unicorn.
Masterfully played. First of all, we talked about Bodas getting caught, not having peel. That was exactly what happened. And I don't care how ahead you are, if you've got a Nocturne and a Yone sitting on top of you, that is not going to end well for you, and Lamalala was safely able to just pump out the damage. The second point of that fight was, look at the health bars on the members of Glacial. They were all fairly low, about below half health. It's just that the damage from Claymores wasn't concentrated. They could never quite find the targets, and so Glacial find himself a clean ace Baron. They were actually behind significantly by a couple of thousand gold. They're now up 2,000, looking to tear down these turrets and try and force a repeat of game one here, where they find a big lead, they get all your turrets, and they eventually close out the game.
It's not, door not closed for Akuma Claymores quite yet, though. They are on soul point here. It is once again going to be that Cloud Soul, and if they are able to pick it up for themselves, might be able to find a pathway to still find victory in this game. But worth pointing out, in that last fight, they also were not able to use all their ultimates to their full potential in the fight. Atlas had to use the ultimate to try to escape from the engage that had gone down onto him, and Cuties was still on cooldown from the defensive paranoia back at the Dragon Pit.
Time it will all be up. Have they found Popeng?
Oh, they certainly have, and this is going to be his stasis as well as potentially his Guardian Angel here, as he's just going to get chunked down incredibly low. Already was taken down, actually, but he manages to escape, and now a huge Magnet Storm Fate Sealed combo going to take down two members of the Akuma roster, and now Revnon is left all alone, once again running away on this Cho'Gath with his tail between his legs, and there's only 3 members left alive. Cutie going to steal away that Fate Sealed, but might have to use it earlier than he expected just to escape from this fight. He's going to use the Blast Code to jump on away, and now he's going to go on over onto Kite Azure. A great flank there from him, but going to get snapped back due to his soul unbound, and now they just have to flash on out of there. Bodas is still alive, but he just can't get the fight lines he needs.
Oh, that feels so bad for the side of Claymores. That they found Popeng, but how? I still don't know how he survived up to this moment here. The ability to turn it around, just that little bit of lacking damage here, and it's gonna cost them quite a bit on the map. It continues to snowball that lead. All the mid lane turrets were down. That's the outer and inner. There's only one turret outside their base standing, and it's in that bot lane here. Another minute left on Baron. I do think they've weathered the Baron storm, as it were, but it doesn't. But what's coming next, I feel like, is even scarier here. They can't fight outside of their base. I feel like they need full vision, and I feel like they need to get a catch. And who are you going to catch? GA completed for Popeng. Kaidazir has the stopwatch, is kind of broken right now, but if that becomes a GA, that's not going to be a catch target. Zonia's for Devil. Who is there?
Yeah, and might have got a little undersold here, but this is nuts. Popeng was able to survive because of that stasis that he popped there, and that was his second stopwatch of the game. He had already completed the Guardian Angel, so he just bought another stopwatch, used it there, and just sold it right on back.
That was absolutely brilliant from Popeng there. I mean, it definitely works. It's what, 650 gold, I believe? So it's a very, very efficient buy if you've got time for it. It's kind of like an elixir. You buy it for the immediate use here. Now, Dragon is coming up. It's soul point for the Claymores. So Glacial are the ones who kind of are forced to take it here.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case, and it's going to be the Akuma Claymores, though. They do want to take this, and a 50-50 is going to go into their favor because they do have access to Cho'Gath Feast, which is going to outdamage Smite at this point in the game. So just going to be fighting back and forth here. The Fate Seal going to be over the wall to get Kite Azure out of here, and now here's the ultimate from Popeng. He's going in for this engage, and he gets right onto Atlas and is going to try to chunk him out. But look at Bodas. He's in the pit, and he's staying alive. That's going to be a massive Fate Seal coming across, stolen away by Cutie, and now Bodas just trying to pop on off in this fight. Can he stay alive? He's going to get taken down eventually. Now Devil Unicorn, though, finds himself all alone. It's a clean ace. Not clean by any means, never mind. But Akuma Claymores are able to find the ace. They're going to be able to find the Dragon Soul, and they get the fight that they needed.
Back and forth game we're having here, Gordo. It doesn't feel like any team really has the advantage. And it was Glacial actually kind of pulling the trigger. I don't know if they meant to, and it's just that they didn't have the safety on when they touched the trigger. But Kaidazir going in like that forced the fight, and they were not in position. That wasn't a proper flank. The rest of Glacial wasn't ready, and Bodas did go down. But before Bodas died, Bodas made it rain pain.
Oh, he really did. He was able to get the perfect position there, just nestled in a little corner of the Dragon Pit where nobody else could get onto him, and he was just able to pump out damage and find the moment that he needed. Excellently played there by Bodast, and his team's going to need him to keep having plays like that in order to win this game. But now that they have the Cloud Soul picked up for themselves, they've got that permanent buff, and they're going to be feeling quite a bit better than they were just a couple minutes ago.
Is that Cloud Soul? We did talk a little bit about how Kai'Sa having it is going to be nice for mobility. Silas able to run around a little bit better is great too. Bigger to me is the ultimate ability haste there coming through, because for the side of Cutie here, he can potentially run through 2 ultimates in the process of an extended fight. Granted, the fights have been extremely fast and brutal, but he could potentially steal a Paranoia, get a pick. 40 seconds later, he has a different ultimate available for that big team fight.
Yeah, and he had a big influence in that last team fight. He had a stolen away Fate Sealed and was able to get about 4 people knocked on up there, and that enabled Bodas to pump out even more damage than he would have been able to otherwise. So gonna have to continue to be on the lookout for how flexible Silas can be in these fights as he steals away different ultimates. He has so many valuable ones to choose from.
Probably also should point out at this time that if we look at the gold, for example, right now, Cutie is massively behind. He's 0-7-11 and unfortunately has not been able to find any kills, and that's why we're seeing the single biggest discrepancy between laners here in the mid lane, where Kaida is up almost 5,000 gold. That's usually a gold difference we talk about in terms of teams. We're now talking about it between players here.
Yeah, but that means, because look at the gold between the teams. It's so close. So that lead that Kite Azure has is a deficit that his teammates have, particularly in that bottom lane, as Lamalala is sitting at 2, 5, and 7 and substantially behind in items. He's only got 2 completed in the components of a third, whereas Bodast is sitting on 4.
I feel like if it was most ADCs, this would be an almost a difference that would be almost insurmountable here. But because it is the Sivir, because you're boomerangs, your bouncing boomerangs, or your ricochet, pardon me, that's what it's called, do hit multiple members, to a certain extent, it's not as painful here. As long as you can free fire, you're fine. And the utility from On the Hunt as well as the shield just gives so much to Sivir's kit that she's still pumping out a lot of damage in these fights when left unattended. And for the side of Claymores, Sivir, Lamelala is not your priority target here. You're trying to kill Kaidazir because he's pumping out a lot of teamfight damage. You're trying to take down Popeng, who can also shred. That Gore Drinker active is what, every 15 seconds lower because of ability haste here. So you need to make sure you kill him properly, or else in 10 seconds, he's back at almost full health again.
Yeah, and getting on to Popeng and getting picks on him like they have previously is getting even more difficult by the moment here, as he's got that Guardian Angel. It's refreshed, it's back up and available, and he's got that Edge of Night as well, which is going to be giving him that Banshee-style shield now this season as it's been reworked, and is going to be protecting him from that first round of CC, which more often than not likely going to be a Thresh Hook or a Rupture.
So difficult to pop it here with the team. Maybe a Prey Seeker coming out might be able to do it here, or yeah, that's pretty much it. There we go, the Prey Seeker pops it.
Yeah,
an opportunity here. The teams are actually incredibly well balanced. It does feel right now like Glacial's a bit ahead just based on the way they're playing, aggressively getting the wards out there, but realistically, anybody could win these fights.
Yeah, I think that might have actually been the Void Seeker coming out of Bodast there that ended up popping it away. We got double Seekers on the comp of Akuma this game. Both Void themed as well, but not going to be available for him for the next few seconds, as that was the Nocturne ultimate popped there, but not really taking the dive in onto anybody, not finding the opportunity he wanted. And so that's a tool that they aren't going to have access to, although they are going to be popping that movement speed from the Shrelias to try to go in for an engage here, and Double Unicorn is going to get chunked out immediately. He's already used the ultimate, he's already used the Zonias, and he's at such low health anyway. He's already been melted down, and once again, they aren't onto Bodast, and so Bodast can just free fire on the backline. He's going in onto Popeng. Popeng cannot chunk him on out. Lamalala does not have the damage. Double Unicorn's already down. Sly Lego as well. Popeng about to join them, and just like that, a huge fight win once again for the side of the Akuma Claymores in a 43-kill game. They are looking to break open the base.
They can end it necessarily off of this here. 20 seconds before Sly Lego and Devil Unicorn are up here. And in that last fight, Lala kind of didn't auto attack too much. Kaidazir here, can he find something on the back end of this?
He's going in, trying to delay things here, and he's got Llama Lala on the other side, just trying to throw away some boomerangs and clear away these waves, and it looks like they are going to be able to keep the game alive. They lose one Nexus turret, but that's probably about to be it, but now a huge engage opportunity comes in from Kite Azure. He manages to pick up one target, but now he's got the killer instinct on top of him from Bodast, and Bodast is going to be looking to take him on down. He goes into the Guardian Angel, and now he's got his AD carry here to run interference for him, and a huge teleport play coming in from Devil Unicorn, going to force into the Resurrect that is Atlas. Atlas is going to come back up and be immediately taken down by Devil Unicorn, and just like that, this game might have been turned yet again, as with 2 members of the Akuma Claymores down, it's a huge opportunity for Glacial Esports to go for this Elder Drake that's about to be spawning.
Not even going to bother going for Baron here. They are going for Elder, which hasn't even spawned. 10 seconds. They will be set up. Atlas down for 40 here. He will not get here in time. There is no more farm alarm. Rek'Sai's ultimate doesn't work that way. She actually has to run all the way here this time. Dark Lord Matt trying to secure some vision, but if we look at the vision right now, they have nothing around either major objective.
Yeah, no, with that blast cone down, Revnon's the only one who could be able to steal it away, but he's got no flash, he's got no ability to get on in there and try for a steal, and so that is going to be that all-important Elder buff going towards this team that doesn't have the soul. It's going to be Glacial Esports having that potential execute damage, and they're going to try to convert that over towards the Baron.
That is Elder check. Baron Nyx on the checklist here. Atlas is up this time, is going to be running from base, but again, we spoke about the vision. They still don't really have any vision in there here, and they're not in position. Look how fast Baron melts.
Yeah, no, they got 3 auto-attack focused champions there between the Yone, the Nocturne, and the Sivir, and with those synchronized recalls, they're going to get back into that base, they're going to take their home guard heals, and there you've got both major buffs on their side here. They're going to be looking to maybe crack open the base, and definitely going to be looking to take a big fight here.
Step 1, Elder. Step 2, Baron. Step 3, team fight. Step 4, Prophet here. They've got to try and push in and take advantage of this. No more objectives. They just need a brute force. There are super minions coming in the mid lane, but with the Baron buff to even things out here, it shouldn't be too much of an advantage here for the side of Claymores.
Yeah, Silas has Yone ultimate stolen away. Very important to recognize that potential here, as he might be going for a potential flank. He is hanging around back in his base and is going to be looking to make the fight happen once it breaks out, but they just want to be able to defend the base as long as they can here.
It feels like has come down to, can you find Bodast here? I'm hoping for that. Glacial has recognized that and swept the Claymore, so they get enough peel for Bodast here, because this could be the last fight. Everything just hang the tension building right now as the last siege minion goes down. The new batch is in though, so the siege will continue here.
Yeah, this is such a bad situation for the Akuma Claymores, though, to be facing down the Elder Drake, as that dive is going to be so dangerous with the execute. They're just going on in here. They don't even care if they're fighting on the Cho'Gath. They just want some of that execute damage. But Kite Azure has been taken down. Such an important damage source for Glacial Esports has already fallen. But let's see if they can make up the difference with their Elder Drake. It's so far a 2-for-2 in the fight, but Bodast is still available. He is into the stasis. A kill picked up for Cutie, but Bodast manages to stay alive. He could potentially keep his base standing here, but they are going to end up losing the fight at the end of the day. 3-2, though. It was so close, RMC.
Yeah, they're right back to it. The death timer is 30 seconds right now. Bodast, is he going to go in?
He might be. He doesn't have access to Killer Instinct, but he doesn't need it, as Atlas is going to be doing it for him. He's going to pick up on a popping, but now they're moving here onto Bodast. The heal does not matter as they're going to try to execute it down. It's a trade between the 80 carries, but Devil Unicorn is the last man standing on the map, and can he end the game in 24 seconds before Cutie respawns? Dark Lord Matt's going to be here as well, but he's likely not going to be able to stop it too much. It's all up to Dark Lord Matt. He's got to find a way to stop Devil Unicorn from finishing off the game, but it looks like he's just going to be a little bit too intimidated here. He's got to just back on away, and the game is going to continue to be played, RMC.
Oh, Revnon!
Oh, the teleport comes through, he just eats him! He just eats him straight up. That's gonna be, is that the 12th stack for Revnon? The 13th? It's the 12th, as that Cho'Gath is twice the size of your average Cho'Gath, and gonna be super huge in this game. It just never ends. They're just gonna keep on playing it out. We're at what are we at now? We're at 55 kills?
Yeah, 55, and we're just under 40 minutes here. Right now, all I can think of is that anytime Revnon's piece is up here, you got to be careful. That drive-by right now is absolutely massive here. You know, forget Uber Eats, forget skip the dishes. Revnon's here to get some food.
Oh, he sure is here. He is massive on this Dark Star Cho'Gath. And just gonna be a huge menace to deal with as the side of the Glacial Esports roster just feeling almost a little bit outscaled here, but they do still have major options to be able to win these team fights. Nocturne going to be dropping off a little bit, but the Yone still pumping out just as much damage as always, and Sivir finally starting to get her items. They are going in here onto Sly-Lego, and Sly-Lego just going to turn it around, pop the Magnet Storm, and try to go for this engage. And they know that the AD carry is not present, and so Atlas is going to be forced to fight. He's going to try to execute down on a Kite Azure, but not going to be able to do so. But here comes the killer instinct. It is Bodas. He's trying to find the fight. He's trying to make it happen, but he's forced to just run on away, not able to pick up any kills for himself. He's going to force Kite Azure into that Guardian Angel. Now Popping is in this fight 1v2, but he's regenning up with his Gore Drinker. It might not be enough, though. The Umbral Blades are not going to keep him alive. He's going to drop down into the GA, but now he's got teammates coming in to try to back him on up. Cutie now trying to escape. He's stolen away the Yone ultimate. He's going to be able to use that Fate Seal to try to escape even farther. They're trying to chase him down because they just want something after this whole engage fiasco that's gone down, but they might not even be able to get Cutie. He's got so many dashes available. He is going to go in onto Popping, try to trade it around, but he's got so much regen available, but he is going to do it. He's going to trade it back with the chains, deal enough damage, and trade 1-for-1. But now Devil Unicorn is on the other side. There's a Dark Passage bringing on in Cho'Gath. They have Revnon here, and they're just saying, hey, Cho'Gath, you're huge. Come over here. Come and stop this Echo who's rampaging in our base. It is going to take this inhibitor. He manages to take it away. He still has access to the ultimate, and he does have access to the sun, which he's going to use. He's going to ult back away, and now he's got a little bit of distance spawn. He's going to be throwing down those slows, going to be using the dashes, but he does get picked up by the Rupture, and that means he's going to get picked up by Cho'Gath.
I told you, Gordon, I did not envy you this game, and it just goes from bad to worse. It's getting longer and longer. I appreciate what Devil Unicorn tried to do, trading his life core inhibitor. It's not a bad trade if you don't lose anything else, but guess what else might be on the table here? It is going to be Elder in 5 seconds, and without Devil Unicorn, I think they have a hard time taking this here. Akuma Claymores, this should be their dragon.
Oh, Popping just can't get here in time. Kai'Sa's going to be dealing so much damage to this Elder Dragon that even with the ultimate, Popping's just not going to be able to close the gap in time. They're going to end up having to give that one away. Elder Dragon now 1 for each team on the scoreboard, and the buff going to be accessed by Akuma Claymores. They're going to try to do the exact same play that they saw earlier. They're going to try to convert this Elder into a Baron, and we're going to have to see if Glacial Esports feels like they have to let him.
At this point, I do want to do a check-in with Revnon, exactly how tanky he is. He's 5,674 health right now. His health bar?
Big boy.
I was just looking at his health bar and getting confused with how much it is. They can't actually kill him. In that last fight we saw, they tried to look for Revnon and just couldn't do anything to him. The amount of armor he has, Frozen Heart with Thornmail as well right now, and then you throw on the Titanic Hydra, and he's just chunky. His feast to jungle monsters is 1,374. In comparison, Smite at level 18 only does 1,000 true damage. Revnon can now outsmite any jungler. They have to kill Revnon or Poppang can't even go for a 50-50.
Kill Revnon. They can barely even dream of touching Revnon at this point, as he's just built up so much tanky stats, and now they're going to be starting up the Baron here. Cannot hope for a 50-50 here. If you're Popping, they have to either give it up or try to go for a fight. They're grouping around here. Popping going to find himself hit by the death sentence, though. Can't even use the ultimate, and Blue Tay is going to finish up that Baron, but Popping has gone in anyway. He's got to try to escape now as they are finding their fight lines. They've got all 5 here, but Bodas going for the huge engage here, and with that Elder Dragon buff, it won't be enough. It's only Rel on top of the Kai'Sa. Can't stop him with just that, as you do no damage, as it's a 4-for-0 fight in favor of the Akuma Claymores. They're going to close out this game, RMC.
Devil Unicorn can't stop this. You can't cut a wave, and you can't even survive.
Unicorn has no opportunity to survive here. He's going to get taken out by the Elder Dragon, and it looks like Akuma Claymore is going to be forcing us to Game 3 in tonight's series.
What a way to drag Glacial as well, kicking and screaming. A 44.5-minute game, Gordo here, where Revnon just became an absolutely unkillable monster. Props to Bodas as well, because Bodas really, throughout the entire game, was what kept them in it. When the top side was just getting slaughtered, was getting killed, it was Bodas destroying the bot side. And it kind of shows in terms of damage numbers there. You can see Bodas well and ahead of absolutely everyone else. I like what Glacial tried to do. It's just it took way too long, and Cho'Gath skills infinitely.
Oh, he sure does there, RMC, and a banger of a match there with over 60 kills by the end of the day there. 63 going to be our final kill count. And it just you can't even go back to the drawing board at that point, as both teams just tons of huge successes and tons of huge mistakes in that last game. They're going to be up to both of them now to maybe test a little bit of endurance, as that was quite the high stakes game, quite the long game, and they're just going to turn right back around and bring us a third one.
Yeah, and as you said here, it wasn't the cleanest of games. It was a little bit sloppy, but the highs definitely, I feel, outweighed the lows there. Yes, there were mistakes, but the sheer amount of mechanical outplays we saw, absolutely massive. Game 3 here. I don't know if they can maintain this pace, and I feel like as a color caster, I kind of want to see a bit more macro play in Game 3. We've seen how they can play standard. We've seen how they can brawl it out, and now I want to see how you can rotate, how you can out macro the opponents here.
Yeah, that is what we are going to be looking for. But first, we are going to take a quick break here. Going to get ourselves into game 3. Going to give the teams time to figure out what their drafts are going to be, and then we'll bring it right to you here. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are here in the Risen Divine League for Game 3 between Glacial Esports and the Akuma Claymores. We just had a banger of a Game 2 to bring us here, and my name is Gordo. I'm proud to be joined once again by a Random Minion Caster to bring you guys this Game 3. And Random Minion Caster, thoughts on last game?
Let's go. After the last game, that's all I can say.
All right. Well, we are going to be going right into these picks and bans. And if you're either of these teams, I have no idea what you want to prioritize. But Glacial Esports knows what they want. They're banning away some of those champions that beat them last game. They're going to get rid of that Rek'Sai. They're going to get rid of that Thresh. And they just don't want to deal with it anymore.
What are we going to see next? The Cho'Gath? Because I feel like that really put the nail in their coffin.
Kaisa. No, it's going to be the Darius.
Oh, they left Kaisa open. The Claymores left it open. And we know that Glacial is willing to pick that fairly early. Yep, first pick. Okay.
Yeah, whoever's picked Kaisa has won both games so far this series, but I do agree with Akuma Claymore's Ujir ban as they let it through on red side in game 1, and it just ran them over then. So now with that off the board, they're going to be looking to have better chances on red side here in game 3.
I mean, I really got to question the Anivia ban. Is it really worth the ban here compared to that Kaisa? But yeah, that made it through for the Claymores. They're the Seraphine coming through here, and I believe both Cutie and Dark Lord Matt actually played this year, so could be flexed on. And the Olaf was something that Glacial was worried about in game 1, did ban it away, left it open in game 2, and it just kind of slipped under the radar.
Yeah, it could even be potentially Bodast taking that one down in the bot lane. I've heard speakings of a bot lane Seraphine, and I don't believe any recent nerfs have taken that off of the available table. But now we're going to start seeing some pocket picks as the Kindred going to be locked in for Glacial Esports along with the Galio. But we're going to see Vel'Koz coming through from Cutie. He loves this champ and spams it in solo queue all day long.
Gordo, I'm looking at all these picks that came through, and this looks like the ban list from game 1, with the exception of Kaisa right now. Kindred, Galio banned against Glacial. Seraphine, Olaf, Vel'Koz all banned against Claymore. This is... Okay, I was hoping after game 2, the hectic game 2, game 3 would be a macro-based game. I don't think it's gonna be. It looks like comfort picks all the way through here.
Yeah, no, the training weights are off here, RMC. We've banned away some of those champions that were muddying the waters for the first 2 games, and now we're just all taking our mains, and we're going to run at each other and see who ends up winning at the end of the day.
Feels a bit solo queue. I might yet be corrected. We are still looking potentially for maybe a support and mid for Glacial, or top and mid for Glacial. And for the side of the Claymores here, with that Seraphine, as you mentioned, being able to flex between 3 lanes here potentially. We are looking for definitely a top lane and maybe an ADC potentially is what I suspect we're waiting for here.
Yeah, we are going to have to see that Seraphine can go in so many different places, but we'll have to wait and see what Akuma wants to pick up here. They've got to blind pick something here, you've got to believe, assuming that the Galio is going to be sitting in that middle lane, although he could even be flexed to support potentially, and they might feel tempted to do so, as Vel'Koz and a Galio feels like he might be at a little bit of a range disadvantage.
Ooh, I am getting concerned for the Claymores here. I'm seeing 3 AP champions coming through that have better, and it's rare to see an ADC last pick. You know it's going to be a Kaisa here. So if that is a Seraphine bot, I'm going to need to see some massive AD damage, like maybe a Lucian mid, I don't know, a Vayne top, a Quinn top, something like that to try and balance out this composition here.
Yeah, and maybe we will see that, or maybe everybody's just going to be buffing up this Olaf and trusting that he'll be able to run through it all. But it is going to be the blind top lane for Glacial Esports. They're going to be taking that Ornn there and say, hey, you know what? We'll throw down our Ornn up against anything here for Devil Unicorn, and maybe a little bit of a hover coming through on the Rumble again. They are going to take that, so it is going to be the comfort in the mid lane for Kite Azure, and it is going to be the Galio support.
Okay, I really like this draft here from the side of Glacial here. They took what worked in game 1, which was that Rumble here and the Kaisa, and now they've paired it with actual AoE CC to make that red carpet stick that much better. You've got Kaisa and Kindred as well. If they do the buff Atlas and let the huge Juggernaut Viking man run at you guys, they're going to run into Kaisa and Kindred, who can shut him down. The Garen coming through from Revnan. Is that for real there? So
are you kidding me?
Revnan before this game was joking about it. He's known as a Darius player, but he does like Garen. He just hasn't played it because it's not been super viable. And he was kind of joking about Biggie. I guess it wasn't a joke.
No, he was actually letting us in on his strats super early. He doesn't care that Glacial's in the lobby. He just wants to throw down the gauntlet here, and he's going to be running through on this Garen. Garen plus Olaf with a whole bunch of supportive champions to back them up, and a little bit of Vel'Koz there to layer down CC and damage. This is one crazy composition coming through from the Akuma Claymores here in Game 3.
Yeah, and when I look at these compositions here, it's, first of all, how often do you see a composition like the Claymores here with no ADC whatsoever, triple AP threat, 2 bruisers as well? That's not a composition you ever see normally. And so the damage feels like it's coming out from primarily Vel'Koz here, Olaf, Garen running at you. What I'm seeing when I'm looking at these compositions is, can Glacial cut through Claymores fast enough? If not, Claymores get their bruises onto you, sit in the middle of you, and do their slow damage. So it's really a battle of health versus damage here.
Yeah, and really it does feel like this composition going to be having a lot of tools to be running at the side of Glacial Esports with Garen and Olaf both running on through. You want to have a couple champions like that who are going to be doing the charge forward when you have Seraphine, because you can extend Encore through those allies as long as they're running forwards for even better engage tools, and they're going to have Karma being able to Mantra E and speed up everybody with that big shield.
Yeah. So with that sort of composition, when you've got champions who just want to run at you here, they don't care about sort of a front to back pitch battle here. The more chaotic the fight, the better. The more easily they can run into your backline, the better. And we've seen Atlas and Revnon play. Revnon got some amazing flanks on that Cho'Gath. It's probably the least sneaky champion in the entire game when you're 10 stack Cho'Gath there. And Revnon still found ways to get into the backline, do those drive-by feasts here. Now, with the Garen, who can actually run faster with a slightly smaller character model, I think for the side of Glacial here, they've got to be very careful. They're going to need to constantly ward their flanks.
They are going to need to do just that. And now let's look over on the side of Glacial Esports here, though. They have an interesting pick of their own. They're bringing out the Kindred this game, and that is certainly going to be something to watch out for on the side of the Akuma Claymores. If this Kindred is able to get going early, is able to pick her marks effectively, and is able to pick up those marks early on, then they're going to get that range advantage, and they're going to be able to run away with this game on that snowball pick.
And with sort of these double carries here, Kaisa with the AP damage, Kindred with the AD damage as well, you can't effectively sort of itemize well against both these champions. They will shred through you in an extended fight with the peel from Galio, with potentially the peel from Ornn as well, not to mention the Lamb's Respite. It's going to be so good for Glacial if they can fight a pitch battle front to back here. I said that the Claymores want chaos. Glacial doesn't. They need to sit there. They need to sit into that sort of that Lamb's Respite in that taunt area there. So if they're getting engaged from multiple sides, it's going to be a lot more difficult for Glacial to get their ADs to safely pump out the damage.
Yeah, and let's time to brush up on our geometry a little bit here, RMC, as when we're looking at this Glacial Esports composition, we're going to have the big circle from the Kindred Ultimate and the big circle from the Galio Ultimate, and on top of that, we're going to have the red carpet equalizer being laid out by Kite Azure to connect the two. So we're going to be looking out at those defensive tools and see how the side of Glacial are able to keep themselves in their protective circles while trying to punish the side of the Akuma Claymores as they try to enter those same circles.
And for the side of Claymores as well, there is the original trigonometry champion here, Vel'Koz, coming through. I mean, when you're talking about angles, when you're talking about shapes, you got to watch out for Vel'Koz here. And I feel like he's the sort of main effective poke in the entire game. Well, no, there's Karma as well and Seraphine, I guess, to poke down, but Claymores do have some poke on their side. And I am looking at Cutie, who has been a staple throughout all of these games here. Last game on the side list, he was denied kill after kill and yet still managed to find a lot of utility here. With this Vel'Koz, he can fulfill a very similar role where he doesn't need kills to pump out damage.
No, he certainly does not, and he is going to be outranging everybody in this game and just firing off those abilities from so far away, especially with that life form disintegration ray ultimate. It just reaches so far away from Vel'Koz, farther than anybody ever expects, and he's going to be hoping to layer that on top of something like an encore from Seraphine, where people are just going to be forced to stand in there and take all of those chunks of damage.
Pretty much. It the passive from Vel'Koz as well really shreds through tanks. So don't think that Ornn's going to be super safe from this. They're not. Same with Galio. The nice part for the Glacial Esports team is that there's a lot of magic damage here, and the physical damage coming from Revnon and Atlas isn't going to be particularly bursty, and it's going to be slower coming out because they are bruisers. So magic resistance itemization up front is going to do a lot to help Glacial have an excellent mid game, which is where they really sort of excel here with that Rumble, with the Kindred, with the Kai'Sa. All of them have hit those sort of basic power spikes for themselves where they can really start to shred through the front of a team. But we do, of course, need to talk about Seraphine here because the Encore, I feel like, is going to be absolutely massive for these fights.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to have to throw it to a quick break here while we get loaded on up into the game, but do not go anywhere. We are going to be right back with Game 3 of Glacial Esports versus the Akuma Claymores. Stay tuned.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Okay, and welcome back, ladies and gents. Apologies for the delay there. Unfortunately, Gordo kind of looks like he's died after that game too there, and I don't blame him. That was super action-packed. The poor man did not have any time to breathe, and unfortunately, we weren't able to resuscitate him, get him back into the game. So for now, it's just going to be me here, and looks like the action don't stop as right away Atlas already gets poked out, pardon me, out here almost immediately. A lot of action already, a little bit surprising here. And with that, we will probably see a bit more of a passive start from the junglers. Popping, getting poked out, might actually want to start bot side where he can get a bit of a bigger leash coming through here. And as for Atlas, he can start wherever he wants. Looks like he's starting top side, red side here. And I do kind of put pressure on Akuma Claymores to make their composition work. They're the ones with a slightly unorthodox composition here, and I do fear for them in terms of what they can pull out here with this composition. They need to run into a lot of danger, a lot of fire, into a composition with pretty solid peel throughout the early to mid as well. Are we going to see a bit of cheese here from Akuma's bot lane? The Karma and Seraphine already here. Sly Lego going to get poked out a little bit. That does have that magic shield, so just a bit of chunk here. Galio will struggle a little bit against the double range. A lot of poke. And one of the things about the APs in the bot lane is that they can basically put out more damage than AD carries early on. They skill more with levels than do with gold, so should be a very nice strong lane for the Claymores. Can play through that potentially, and more importantly, can poke out the Kai'Sa, which has proven to be such a strong pickup throughout the series so far here. And with the start from the Olaf as well for Atlas, we are likely to see a gank bot lane. I would be a little bit surprised if we don't. We are seeing the push come back already. The taunt coming through will land onto Dark Lord Matt. A bit of poke exchanged here, but probably won't stick with the Seraphine healing and shielding here, so they are gonna still be okay. Topside, we are just seeing a little bit of poke. I'm not expecting to see a ton of action topside. It is not exactly two wet noodles, two fat tanks, but Garrett into Ornn probably not going to be the most exciting lane. Mid lane might be a little bit more exciting, but for now, just a little bit of poke, and we are now seeing Atlas looking to come down here. He's just going to run right through lane, not even going to try and fake it. The axe misses, so does the beat drop, but they are going to be able to maybe turn this. Teleport coming in right away from Devil Unicorn here, and they do get first blood. It does go on to La Milala, and they're gonna keep on going here. Bodas, the next one on the chopping block. Dark Lord Matt to follow. That's 2 kills going to La Milala here, and 1 to Sly Lego, and I had concerns about this composition. They're also off to an extremely rough start here, and it goes to the Kai'Sa of all people here. We've seen what a fed Kai'Sa can do, and this Kai'Sa is definitely looking a little bit ahead in this bot lane here.
Speaking of rough starts,
hey!
Right, our production had a bit of a rough start. We lost a caster. So hello everyone, I'm Coleslaw and I'm here to fill in. So apologies about that. Thank you RMC for holding down the fort by yourself. Always a bit of a challenge. We've got a fight breaking out already. Atlas might be going down. Nah, there's a smite.
Yeah, this might just the heal up is already not good. They don't want to turn back to this.
Oh, nope. There's a flash over from this Rumble, and that Olaf is going to go down. Doesn't have the flash still, so there's no escape from that.
Well, Cole, I don't know if you caught the last game, but it was an absolute bloodbath, more than a kill a minute. It's looking like we're going to get more of the same here. For now, it's been rather one-sided here, so hopefully we do see Akuma Claymore start to fire back a little bit here.
Yeah, 4 kills in the first 4 minutes is never how you want a game to go. That is a dangerous, risky start. It's already a 1.5k gold lead, which isn't much later on, but can be really, really risky here early, especially with these kills funneling onto the Kaisa in particular, a Rumble as well. That's a lot of pressure, that's a lot of team fight potential, and you can really try and leverage that into some early dragons if you can execute correctly. And with this Cloud Dragon spawning in another 10 seconds, it may just be the case that they'll look for that as soon as they get 6 on a couple of these champions.
And the Claymores wouldn't be able to answer. Atlas is so far behind right now. He's 2 levels down on this Kindred here. That's never where you want to be as an Olaf. You want to be the big man on the block and stat check other people. You don't want to get yourself stat checked here. And there's not a lot of options. Both Scuttles down. Popeng already looking down to the bot lane.
Well, here's a taunt coming in from Sly Lego, and Popeng is in here as well. Dark Lord Matt looking like he's going to go down. He's running away. He's actually in the alcove. Teleport being channeled in behind. Matt going to stay alive as long as he can. Malala going to finally pick up this kill. We see a teleport canceled in the top lane. Revnon going to be able to stop that from happening. The 1 kill does finally go down. Atlas is here. That's all they're going to get for it, but still 1 free kill. And now from 4-0, we go to 5-0.
Like you called it, Cole. There is the dragon on the chop and block as well. They're actually kind of ignoring it for a little bit. I am a little bit surprised, but Kaiser has his priorities, and his priority is mid lane here. Does not want to fall too far behind Cutie, and Cutie has already established a bit of a CS lead here from all the roaming that Kaiser has had to do.
Yeah, there was also an XP lead in the mid lane, so this Rumble can't really afford to stay off of that lane for too much longer. You don't want to be a level and a half down, but once they're able to push in that bot lane, that does mean that they have enough prio to go for this dragon. They're going to go ahead and snag that for themselves and get that dragon timer rolling. 6 minutes is a very early first dragon. Can lead to some very early souls if they're able to maintain control over that.
Yeah, not the Cloud Soul, not necessarily the most important soul, but when I'm looking at the ultimates that Glacial has available here, the Orn Horn, the Lamb's Respite, the Equalizer, all those are massive. And I'm looking at the hero's entrance as well from Sly Lego. With that much utility on the team, I feel like there's no lane you can really gank. Malala's so far ahead, and Sly Lego can back up any other lane here.
Yeah, this is looking dire already, you know? You don't really ever practice or game plan on being down 2,000 gold at 7 minutes. That's just not a consideration you have when planning out how your game's going to go. It's not how you drew it up. It's not really, even with an early game draft, you're not supposed to fall this far behind. It's just everything they've tried so far hasn't worked out for them.
And they, right now, I feel like for Atlas, if the ganks didn't work, just sit back and farm up a little bit. Make sure you don't waste any more time, Lego, with the roam here.
Yep, here's a gank from this Galleon onto the mid lane. The taunt comes down, as does the Equalizer. Cutie's running away, but with the ignite, with the fire, that Vel'Koz is going to fall. It's another kill going over.
Coming into this series, Coleslaw, I never thought it would be... This game 3 is the most one-sided so far, and I never thought it'd be this way. The teams right now hit-to-hit record stands at 4 games apiece after the first 2 games of the evening here. So they're incredibly closely matched. And 6-0, not at all what you'd expect here. And I'm not sure how they come back. They need to kind of sit back and farm a little bit, but all their lanes are getting shoved in except for Cutie here. And Cutie doesn't have a ton of kill potential onto Kaiser just yet.
No, and it's also the dilemma of, you know, you want to sit back and farm, but at the same time, you're playing against this Ornn, against this Kaisa. They're going to be scaling very, very well. And you see Akuma Claymores, they don't have an 80 carry, so come late game, it's not going to go well. Anyway, here's a play onto this blue buff. Atlas is going to get taunted up. He's going to get the smite onto it, but he's going to go down. That's another kill, another Kindred stack, and it's getting a little shaky here. I said a little, it's getting a lot shaky here. With invades happening, they don't even own their jungle anymore. It's a disaster.
Yeah, 7-0, completely unanswered here. And they might be going for more Sly Lego with the repeat gank.
Yep, this Galio's back in. The flash taunt comes in. The Vel'Koz getting burned down yet again. Cutie not going to have a way out of that one. This time, Kaitazor picks up the kill. Oh man, we're going to sound like a broken record if we keep saying it's getting worse, because...
it has surely, Coleslaw. It has to stop somewhere, right? Like, it can't constantly just be getting worse and worse. Akuma Claymore still have fight in them here, but for now, it's looking like they're going to hell in a handbasket real quick here. Well, in a handbasket and in a mecha suit, as Kite Azir is the one who's been flaming down Cutie.
All right, well, I'm going to try and jinx it. How about pointing out the fact that Glacial Esports have not lost a kill, have not lost a turret plate, and have not lost an objective so far in this 10-minute game.
Fair enough. I mean, Herald is on the chop and block potential here as Popang is starting it up. Maybe this is where things could change. Actually, Popang making a liar out of me once again, looking for more kills. Forget objectives.
Yeah, and you see the Kindred stack on those Krugs, so you start getting greedy when you can be this strong and this far ahead. You realize you can go for whatever you want. You own the jungle, and that's a really great way to snowball, is Kindred getting, you know, 7 or 8 stacks early on in the game. I'm not sure how many Popang does have so far, but it's probably at least a few, considering the number of kills. I know we saw 1 stack happen on that blue buff. You see the Herald going down, by the way. Atlas is in base, so this should just go over to Glacial Esports with no contest.
And Ghostly, I just checked it for you. Popang already on 4 stacks already here, so everything from here on out starts increasing the range of that Kindred. I think this is the fastest I've ever seen 4 stacks.
Yeah, and that's the initial breakpoint. Anyway, we have a fight breaking out here. You see the Lifeform Disintegration Ray going out from Cutie. There's a dive in from Popang underneath the turret. You're actually going to have to pop the Lamb's Respite. That's going to get this Kindred out of turret range. Now you see Atlas trying to go in, trying to make something happen. Ooh. He almost gets Kite Azir, but he is going to go down to that Flame Spitter. And though it was close, though it looked like maybe Akuma was going to get something, doesn't work out for them. Just another kill going over to Glacial.
Ooh, and a whole bunch of plates. As they already stripped off 1 plate, Shelly being dropped here immediately means another 2 plates go in their way. Can they get 3? Yes, they can.
Yeah, and I mean, 5k gold at 11 minutes? I think that's even more impressive than when we said whatever it was at 7 minutes. It's This is a very dominant snowball. Another plate going down bot lane. Oh, I did successfully jinx the perfect game. They did get 1 plate in top lane. It's fine.
Yep. We just need to jinx them a little bit harder, Ghostly. But for now, it is the Inferno Drake being started up by Glacial right now. No vision really outside of defensive vision from Claymore, so they're unlikely to do this. And honestly, the Claymores, aside from the fact that they've been hemorrhaging kills left and right so far, their lane CS is actually not too bad. They haven't fallen too far anywhere outside of the jungle. Bot lane, yes, they are down a little bit here, but 15 CS here, not the end of the road, especially when you're a champion like Seraphine.
Yeah, I think it's really just the kills, you know? It's when you're giving up a kill a minute and getting none back. It's just hard to win games of League of Legends, you know? It's kills don't win you the game, but they certainly make it easier. And when you're getting this many of them, it's kind of a cakewalk. I think despite the CS being relatively even, you see just kills on every single carry across the board. We see a fight going down to the top lane. It's Delano that is the one person without any kills, so they're going to try and punish this Ornn, but that's an Ornn, RMC. That's a tanky boy. He's kind of hard to kill.
Look how quickly the rest of the team responded as well. They were up there immediately. This is... I like what I'm seeing from Claymores. It shows that they haven't given up hope. It's 9-0. They're not looking to FF at 15 here. They are actually fighting this out here. And it did threaten Devil Unicorn enough that the rest of the team had to respond.
Well, from what I can see, I think our other play-by-play caster has returned. His Discord is back to functioning. So while we've got a bit of a lull in the action here, I think I'll hand it back off to my man Gordo. Thank you for having me for this very little brief period of time.
Thank you, Coastal, for stepping in when we needed you the most. Gordo, my friend, are you back?
Oh, it's back.
Oh, you can hear him say it's back. I think he's back.
Oh, and we lost him again.
Oh,
the
we lost
resuscitation's
him.
not okay, guys. We're still trying to resuscitate him. The CPR has not worked, unfortunately. Hopefully, we'll keep trying. We've got doctors in the back, technical doctors here trying to do some stuff.
Yeah, well, until then, I guess you're just stuck with me, so...
Never stuck with you, Coleslaw. It's always a pleasure to be with you here. And we have word that hopefully he should maybe be back. But for now, in the game, while that was happening, absolutely nothing happened on Summer's Rift here. Everybody's just farming things up. You know what? And there's no major objectives for now. So I'm just looking to see where the side of Glacial wants to go next in terms of map pressure here, because there's only turret standing.
Yeah, and you see Glacial Esports trying to start chipping away at these turrets. You see demolished procs in both top and bot lane. Plates are still up. It feels like for how far ahead they are, they should have been gone long ago. But now that the plates fall, this means that they can start fricking turrets and getting even more of that static gold before this next dragon fight. And that's at the point at which it's going to start getting desperate for the Akuma Claymores, where they're going to need to say, all right, like, we got to do something at some point. And on that third dragon usually is when teams decide to put their foot down, saying, if we give this up, then we're on soul point for the rest of the game, and we're not comfortable with that. But hard to think they'll be able to pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, it is the Mountain Soul, so it's not the end of the world. My bigger concern right now is their lack of skilling. When you drafted a Garen Olaf with Seraphine Karma, that screams mid-game to me. You need to take advantage of the times when those champions are strong. You don't scale amazingly well, and so if they don't put their foot sooner rather than later down here, I'm afraid they're not going to be relevant come the later parts of the game.
We have Gordo rejoining. Gordo, are you there?
I am here. I am here. There's some kind of crazy localized Cloudflare outage. It's hit a seemingly random group of people. But apparently I am back on up here, and I am back with you guys for the stream. How's the game going? I haven't been able to keep track.
It's honestly, going?
Yeah, Gordo, I would say, it's in a fairly similar state as you right now. Akuma Claymores seem to have died a little bit. We are currently in the process of trying to resuscitate them right now, 9-0, but you came back, so maybe they can too.
Yeah, hopefully. Glad that none of the players ended up getting hit by that stuff, but I'm sure if anybody wants to buy my excuses, they'll be all over Twitter, I'm sure. But looks like there is going to be a fight breaking on out here, as that's going to be the equalizer laid on out by Kite Azure just to keep them away. And with that, everybody's just going to back on away here.
Oh, TP? Are they looking for the flank?
Yeah, might just be, but doesn't seem to be too many opportunities. Here comes Revnon. He's just trying to run on through, spin through with those abilities, but not going to be able to actually pick anybody out. And just like that, that's going to be a huge pickup down there onto the Galio, and Lamalala going to pick up a killing spree as a result. Cutie then going to go on through, manage to finish off Devil Unicorn, so there is going to be some kills picked up by Akuma throughout this game, at least before it is over. But just like that, they are going to be forced to back on away here. It does look like that Kindred is going to be pretty threatening at this point in the game.
And Akuma's actually somehow turned it. Great teleport flank to kick things off from Revnon here. He's been the one to make action happen, but unfortunately he didn't get an assist on that fight there now. Popang,
yeah. Ooh, gonna have to use Lamb's Respite there, but with that can use the tool to advance forward and deal a ton of damage to Atlas, and is going to end up finishing him off as a result. Going to be a return shutdown, though, picked up by Kite Azure. You'll take that if you're Cutie. A good influx of gold into him as he was able to pick up 2 kills in the extended fight. This is going to be soul point picked up for Glacial Esports, though.
Okay, you know what? It's not the best. It's not an ace, but it is a start for Akuma Claymores. And they've shown, I think more impressively, that despite being down 6,000 gold or 5,500 gold here, they can actually fight back and put out a lot of damage. They're probably actually down more than 5,500 gold before that fight went down. So really, really solid comeback from them. And I'm looking forward to see if they can continue to find these sort of fights. And next time the ultimates are back up, can they chain it again like that?
That's certainly what they are going to be looking for here, as now both sides just going to return to farming. But see, what was Cutie able to pick? Oh, might be a little bit of an engage coming on here from Devil Unicorn. He does go for that Call to Forge God. Not going to pick up onto anybody, but is going to clear the way for them to finish off that turret. And now it looks like it's Revnon going in for the 1v1 here, but I don't know if he can take this up against Rumple. He's just going to get taken down by Kite Azure in the solo kill. He brings that on himself.
Oh, man. I was looking at the Garen expecting the spin to win, but it was Kite Azure spinning to win there. The flamethrower just going out all directions trying to find Revnon. Gets the kill. Herald in their back pocket, and once again, after a bit of a stumble, Glacial Esports right back on track here, looking to continue powering down every single lane.
Yeah, no, if you keep spinning, you keep winning, but if you die, you stop spinning, and the end result there is that he's gonna end up going down for the solo kill. Oh, I can't. I just wanted to go and check how many marks the Kindred Popang has, but I'm not in the actual client, so I can't do that.
I've got your back right here, Gordo. 7 marks already, and unfortunately, I think while you were dead for a while there, Popang actually got 4 marks within about 10 minutes there. So now sitting on 7 marks. The range is getting a little nasty. This is a 600 range Kindred here. So effectively a full-fledged ADC in terms of range.
Oh, absolutely. Going to be stacking that one on up and is going to be super able to punish away some of the lower ranged members of the Akuma Claymores, which are going to be a lot of their key damage dealers through the way that they've drafted their composition here. That Garen and that Olaf need to be able to dish out damage, and the farther away Popang can stand away from them while still hitting them, the better for him.
Right now, Atlas is so far behind. It's very, very difficult for him to be that sort of damage threat. Level 10 right now, the only people lower in terms of levels in the game are the supports. And honestly, Sly Lego probably going to hit that 10 mark not too long from now either. So super rough. And Revnon, I'm looking at him to try and make plays happen. He did it before. 0-2 and 0 though does mean it's going to be kind of rough. Does have the strike breaker, so he can try and gap close a little bit.
Potentially here, and that is what he's going to be looking for, but not going to be able to find it here. Both sides just going to back on away for the time being.
Oh, Revnon does get a turret though. That is, you know, another objective here to continue breaking ground, finding new things to get gold with here. Baron is up, and normally 20 minutes with this composition, I wouldn't think that teams would go for it, but they do have a Kraken Slayer on Popang, and they are far ahead enough that even if they can't take Baron, they might be able to force a potentially game-winning fight here.
Potentially could do so, but just going to be looking around the Baron here. It's up to the Akuma Claymores to try to find a way into this area. They've lost control over their own red jungle, and that's going to be the place that Glacial Esports is going to be trying to get onto this Baron from. They're just clearing away all those wards, and they're going to be able to move and start it on up sooner rather than later, as they have 280 carries to melt this down so fast.
The Claymores actually do have some vision there, so they know right now that they're safe, and here goes the engage.
Yeah, it's going to be Call of the Forge God coming on through, trying to hit Bodast, but not actually going to be able to land it. But there goes the Equalizer onto them, and that's a huge multi-man encore coming in from the Seraphine, but they're going to be able to survive through it and turn back onto Cutie. He's already been chunked out now, and now it's up to Revnon to try to carry this fight, but he just does not have the damage. He's going to end up being taken down as well, and that's a triple kill, and make it a quadra kill for Lava Lala, as they are just going to be able to rampage through this base. The Rift Herald comes on down to join the party, and they're going to try to burst open this inhibitor, and they're definitely going to be able to do it, RMC.
Wondering right now if they could potentially end the game. Bodas coming up in 5 seconds here. Shelly will get another charge off. At least they decide to back off. I was actually thinking they might just push and take down another Nexus turret, and because of the piecemeal way that Claymores would be fight to defend, they might have been able to get some more kills.
Maybe even go for the Dancing Herald if they could, but not going to be going for that here. Don't want to take any risks after how the last game ended up going. They just want to make sure that they're going to be able to secure this series for themselves.
Yeah, Dragon coming up here and 22 minutes. This is Soul right now. Mountain Soul on the table here, and after that last fight, I think if Claymores fight an equal numbers fight, they don't win this. They're getting pinched.
Yeah, once again, that is going to be Revnon in the middle of everybody, but he just does not have the damage. He's going to get chunked down so incredibly low, but does get a little bit of a nice heal from the... Oh! But that is an insane equalizer on top of multiple targets. It's just going to melt right through 3 members of Akuma, and now there goes the Killer Instinct. Going to jump on through, finish off the Vel'Koz, and now it is only Revnon, still chunked out from earlier, and he's going to turn it around back onto the Kaisa. Going to be able to take down Lama Lala, but that is nothing in the face of the 4 members of Glacial Esports, who are now just going to be marching on through and finishing off this game.
And we do get the surrender vote coming through from Claymores there. No point just waiting that out. And you know what, Gordo? The game did not play out well for them, but I will applaud Claymores for their willingness to try this composition. I think if the early game didn't go the way it did, for you, 10 minutes of blackout here, that's kind of what happened to the Claymores too. It's 10 minutes of blackout. They don't know what happened. They woke up 10 minutes in the game and they were down 8-0 with a turret down, with a dragon down. And if not for that start, maybe I think the composition had its merits.
Yeah, I think it did as well. And while I'm disappointed to have missed so much of it, this has been a great series all in all. Glacial Esports gonna end up taking it at the end of the day, but the Akuma Claymores had some great fight back in them in that game too, and both are gonna be looking great in their group. Come on in to the rest of the Divine League. This is only week one. We've got a whole season of this up ahead, RMC.
I couldn't be excited, more excited for this here. This is why I love the Divine League. It's always fun. It's always great. Double round robin. So these two teams will meet up in about, I believe it's 3 weeks time. And you know what? Call back to history. Last split, Glacial beat Akuma Claymores 2-1 in the first round robin. And the Claymores came back to win the second one 2-1. And so far, this rivalry, it seems to continue.
And always great to have a nice in-group rivalry this early on into the season, and carrying over from last season nonetheless are simply the best kinds we can get. And with all of that said, that is probably going to do it for our stream tonight. I am no longer able to be on cam, but if I was, I would be waving goodbye to everybody tonight. Thank you all for tuning on in, and be sure to tune in next time for the next stream of the Risen Divine League.